Well, it all comes down to this. After the frenetic action of Mid-Ohio and Al Sabo's sheer domination of Homestead, the slip-ups and fight-backs of Motegi, and the unadulterated drama of Long Beach, we come to a very wet Sandown International Motor Raceway for the final round of the NZ Toyota 86E Cup. What an incredible tournament this has been to decide the winners of a grand prize that is worth fighting for from anyone in this field. As I said, it all comes down to this right here, live on NZ Sim Racing TV. I'm Reese Gardner, Scott Rankin alongside me in the commentary box. And I am really excited, Scott. We come to one of the best tracks on the service, in my opinion. Not biased at all. We're going to see some classic Toyota 86 racing here.
Yeah, that we are. This is going to be a challenge like no other. Of course, where else but the most English city in Australia, Melbourne. Known for its coffee, known for how lovely and picturesque it is down on the Yarra, but at the same time also known for that changeable weather. The conditions are going to be interesting right throughout the day. Realistic weather we've got on for this round. I had a little bit of a peek through the weather scenarios. We talked about them at length at Long Beach and, well, nothing eventuated, but the heavens have opened prior to the start of practice here. The reason it's a little bit dark out there at the moment, it's early in the morning, sun's still on the way up, cloud cover in the area, so, you know, rather dark, a little bit of light being assisted by the headlights out the front end of these cars. The session started very wet, and it's slowly getting itself drier and drier and drier. There's a few more showers to pass the way through, but remember, our racing split up right across the duration of the day. And looking at the forecast, conditions are due to be wet for at least the last two races. The first race might be a little bit dry, might get wet, probably not. But I would say we are, if we don't get rain, I think we've been scammed here, is probably the way that I'm thinking.
Yep, that's the way I'm thinking as well. You talk about Long Beach and how we were expecting weather there that never eventuated. Well, certainly even without the moisture on the track, it threw up a ton of drama. The walls were playing host to many a victim during the course of last week's racing. Many drivers were taken almost out of championship contention. We saw that Mitchell Sparrow had gained a ton of points, finally taking his first win of the tournament at Motegi, but unfortunately he fell by the wayside at Long Beach, and Antal Sabo now leads the championship coming into this final round by 36 points there, with if my math is correct. It's certainly 37 it looks like. Napkin math hasn't always done me many favors, but it's always close for second on back. James Corbin, Leo Duncan, Ewan Baker, and Alex Sprague. There's going to be a very tight fight between them here in the final round.
Yeah, there is. It's going to be immense. I think that battle for a little bit further on. And don't forget as well, there is a Teams Championship as a part of this one, with Teams Championship winners taking themselves out to LED speed flags, so 1H, for winning the Teams Championship. Proudly brought to you by Has 3D as well. This is the Teams Championship standings at the moment. Margin is going to be 25 points at the front end of town. James Corbin had a really, really strong round last time. Ewan Baker a lot less so. So it's going to come down to being smooth and consistent. Rain will present a little bit of an opportunity for things to go wrong yet again. That the walls of Long Beach also left available to us. But yeah, look, I think it's going to be an interesting battle. I think the rain's going to play such a big part. Lighting levels, the whole deal. You don't come to Sandown and watch and think nothing's going to happen. The biggest thing about this place is those long straights and a lot of opportunity to draft and set up overtakes potentially. So curbing as well. Curbing's quite crucial to a lap around this place, and how much of that you take, how much risk you're going to take is a big element of being successful. And don't forget, with the conditions as they are, we're heading into qualifying, and what's potentially going to be I would say we're heading into qualifying. It might be a touch dry. We might get a touch more rain before we get the cars out there for qualifying. But yeah, anything I think can happen tonight, Reese. The championship is likely decided, but it's not locked in, so, and that's probably the way to think about it.
Yeah, of course. If Antal Sabo has a couple of bad races tonight, then he will be in trouble for that championship, but he comes in with a nice bit of breathing room. It's not impossible for someone else to take the championship in this final round, but it will certainly be very difficult. Well, over the course of this season, the Tuesday after every round, we've been going to the NZ Sim Racing TV Facebook page to decide the Moser Racing top performer. And this week, out of Long Beach, a fantastic night from this man with podium placings and a competitive night moving up several spots on the leaderboard. Scotty McQueen is with us now. It's been a great season from you, Scotty. You've been pretty much on the pace for much of it. And finally, you get your choice of a prize here. What's your rig missing, do you think?
Definitely a shifter, so I just haven't been able to decide if I go with an H pattern or a sequential yet. But probably an H pattern, just because it's a bit more fun, quite enjoyable, right? Do a little bit of drifting then as well. It's good.
Absolutely. Well, the Moser sequential or H-pattern shifters or the handbrake, the prizes on offer. Big thanks to Moser Racing for providing these prizes. And, well, Scotty, I'm sure you're going to enjoy your new bit of kit, catching 57% of the vote on the NZ Sim Racing TV Facebook page. A lot of support out there for you after your performance at Long Beach, which you were quite happy with.
Yeah, it was good. James, my teammate, and a group of his friends all jumped on and sort of supported me and voted for me, so it was great. It was good fun. Long Beach was kind of nice to actually sort of show some pace for once too. Not really get in too much strife, although I did have that. But yeah.
Well, coming into Sandown, it's going to be a difficult round. The track is wet and all the drivers are out there trying to get as much moisture off the track as they can. I'm sure you're raring to join them out there and get some laps in for tonight's actions. So wishing you the best of luck, Scotty. Congratulations once again. Maybe we'll see you at the end of the round.
Thanks,
Before you go, we do have a question from YouTube chat for you. Is that a turtleneck?
Nah, it's a hoodie. Quite cold in Whakatane at the moment.
Mate, gotta keep the fans happy. That's the big key. We get questions from them. They want to know stuff from you, mate. So enjoy the hoodie. And yeah, look, by the time the end of the show rolls around, maybe go and get a different shirt, change shirt. And, just to mess. You got to mess with the fans at home. Keep them guessing.
Yep. Good point.
Who are you and what have you done with the real Scotty McQueen? Well, we'll send you away then, Scotty, to keep your preparations going. Thanks for joining us.
Cheers, guys.
Scotty McQueen, very deserving winner of that Top Performer Award. He's been in and around that top 5 for the majority of the season. Of course, the way the nights have gone from hasn't always worked out, but it's good to see him getting his dues there.
Yeah, I mean, look, one of the things you said last time out is that he's aggressive. He's one of those guys that doesn't back down, but to me, they're important personalities to sim racing culture as well. You got to have those fiery kind of guys, or else the racing really gets boring. If nobody's aggressive, well, then racing gets sedentary. And there's a line. Walking that line is really, really difficult. But he rode it. The fans love it, and he got some support from friends. The big thing I've got to keep an eye on is who are we supporting tonight. I think is going to be an interesting one. One final round, one final opportunity to support a driver, which I think is huge. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. So the night after, or the day after today's racing, NZ Sim Racing TV's Facebook page will open up the vote, and you'll be able to jump on the socials and vote for your favourite driver, your top performing driver from this final round of the championship, with one more bit of Moser gear to give out before we officially conclude things here. Well, as the drivers continue to deal with the wet conditions here at Sandown. It has stopped raining, but the track is still very moist. We're going to take a little breather here and have a couple of words from our many fantastic sponsors here for the NZ Toyota 86 E-Cup.
In the heart of the action, where adrenaline meets precision, where every second on the clock, every gear shifted, and every corner carved tells a story of passion, innovation, and relentless pursuit of speed. This is no ordinary sport. This is motorsport. Racing isn't just about the blur of the track or the scream of the engines. It's a ballet of brute force and beauty, where drivers and machines push the limits of physics in their dance around the asphalt. Off the track, rallying and club sport take the challenge to the wild, with nature's unpredictability adding to the thrill. Here, drivers weave through winding paths, their vehicles barely touching the ground as they leap over hills, thunder through forests, and navigate paddocks, car parks, and city streets. Of course, none of this would be possible without the teams of dedicated mechanics, engineers, and crews who breathe life into these mechanical beasts, crafting and fine-tuning until the engine's perfection. But the pulse of the sport beats strongest behind the scenes with the unsung heroes, our volunteers, our officials, and our clubs. They are the backbone of every event, guardians of the sport's integrity and safety, ensuring the sport goes on, come rain or shine. At its core, motorsport is about family, friendship, and the community we build around our shared love for motorsport. It's where lifelong bonds are formed in the heat of competition and the cheer of the crowd. Every drop of sweat, every burst of speed, every cheer from the stands fuels this extraordinary world. Here, we don't just compete, we ignite dreams and race together towards greatness. This is no ordinary sport. This is Motorsport New Zealand. Join us and be part of the excitement, passion, and glory.
You have something in your mind, you are able to create it, build it, and then someone from the other side of the world came and tell you that they want to spread this product to 50 countries in the world, so it's a huge personal achievement.
Well, one more time, we thank our sponsors. Many and varied, a huge amount of support for everyone here in the NZ sim racing community. And we will go through what is to come here tonight, the round format, reflecting the format of the real-life NZ Toyota 86 Series. We have 15 minutes of qualifying on the cards coming up shortly, with a 14-lap race 1 here at Sandown, and then 19 laps for race 2, with the top 10 from race 1 inverted for that grid. Race 3 being 11 laps, a super short sprint. No compulsory pit stops for the entire night here, Scott. It's going to be out-and-out sprint racing to the very end.
Yeah, and there was a little bit of debate, a little bit of discussion about potential to go time certain. I want to mention it because I think it's important. I don't actually think it's going to happen, but effectively, you're right. 14-lap opening race, 19-lap middle race, and 11 laps to close out. We've got 35 minutes available to us for the first race. Lap times at the moment, the conditions we're seeing at the moment, we're down to the 1 minute 21s, just most recently because that track's starting to dry up. But if it is wet, we're out to 1 minute and 30. Well, 14 minutes. 14 by 90 seconds worth of lap time is going to end us with 21 minutes worth of racing. That leaves us with about 14 minutes left over. We get a safety car. There is a potential, but it is worth it is worth noting. But then again, we've got that reverse grid race in race number 2. That's going to be exciting, I think, in the wet conditions. That's going to be a challenge, as well as it has been. For me, it's nearly been the feature race of the night. It's been the most important race of the night. It's created the most stories of the night. And then finally, a short shoot to the flag points and what you can actually earn from each and every race. That's the big one. 30 points net is what you get for a race win. So realistically, 90 maximum points on offer for winning all 3. Well, Antal Sabo's done that in a couple of races already here this season. So he knows exactly what you're capable of. So the margin's there. It's in the hands of Sparrow. He's got to get the head down. He's got to do everything that he possibly can do. In theory, James Corbin is still in touching distance, same as Leo Duncan. But Antal Sabo's already here. That basically, I would say, locks Leo Duncan out. He'd have to have hardware malfunctions that cannot get him back into the sim for him to win it, and so would everyone else ahead of him. So realistically, it's a 2-horse race. And even then, it needs a strong performance. Basically needs to be winning from Mitchell Sparrow, and Sabo's got to have his worst night of the championship, basically, is the requirements that we're looking at.
Yeah, what's going to come? How much of a role is the track going to play in all of this? Sandown Raceway is one of the most legendary circuits in Australia. It's had a long history spanning from the early 1960s, and we'll have an opportunity now to see what is to come, what the drivers are having to deal with around this place. It's a track of 3.1 kilometers. Matthew Pluck in the safety car, our league administrator here, bringing us down to the first turn. Long start-finish straight here. A medium-speed left-hander for turn 1. A heavy braking zone, one of the heaviest on the lap. You can clamber all of over those curbs, but they will unsettle the car easily. Into the chicane of turns 2 and 3. Again, you have to be so careful over the curbs. They're brutal in this section of the lap. Turn 4, slowest corner on the track, or one of at the very least, but the exit is so important with the walls close as you come through the flat-out kink of turn 5 down the back straight. The 1984 sports car layout of the circuit had a braking zone that started about here, but on this main layout of the circuit, it's a fast sweep downhill through turn 5, through the S's, clamber all over the curb on the right, but you can get a cut track if you're not careful. Dandenong Road, faster than it looks. You can clamber all over the curbs on the exit there as well, but you need to be careful of the rear end trying to break free. One more chicane to end the lap down at turns 11 and 12. You'll see a lot of moves and cutbacks through this section. Pit entry, off to the right, and the flat-out kink of turn 13, and then you put the power down and just hope that your lap time comes to you. Traction on corner exit is so important around here, Scott, and it's going to be sparing as the rain is coming down again.
Yeah, it's the rain back in the offering, but again, qualifying is just about to come our way in a bit over a minute. The sim was saying we're due for sort of a bleed off. Highest chance of rain across the day is right in the middle of qualifying. Then we bleed off for the first race. The first race should be dry, maybe some rain at the back end. And the final 2 races of the day, we're expected 50% or greater chance of rain. So again, strong chance of rain to finish the night. Not confirmed is the big comment, but here comes qualifying. And to me, this is probably one of the most tricky and yet most important qualifyings of the season. If you're no good in the wet, you're likely to be in trouble here in the next few moments.
Oh, absolutely. As the checkered flag flies and everyone falls back into pit lane, we get ready for 15 minutes of frenetic action. Lap times in the wet getting down to, at the lowest, a minute 21.8. Will we see that same level in qualifying here with more water on the racetrack? The session flicks over. It's a little bit later in the day now, 10 a.m. in sim time, and the drivers are immediately making their way to the end of pit lane to start things off. Leading the charge out of the pits is Leo Duncan, dragging Scotty McQueen along with him, and then the Mackenzie Motorsports cars of Mitchell Sparrow and AJ Giddy. The Orbit Drop Bear machine of Cameron Dance is who we're focusing on here. He's got Arthur Brown also of Mackenzie Motorsports right behind him there. So it's a long train of cars making their way out of the pits here. It's all about trying to find that space here on the outlap so you can maximize your first hot lap.
Yep. And if it's going to get wetter, you want to get that lap down nice and early, don't you? It's playing a dangerous game with conditions. There's a band of rain over the circuit right now. It's supposed to bleed off at the end, but it could be the driest. Still, we're likely to see it right now. We've got 15 minutes for qualifying. That's enough time for that band of rain to blow. You see that for Dance? 2 hands off the wheel, adjust the glasses, make sure the vision's all good to go.
I love that. Dance, of course, hyper-focused, just coming off winning the NZ Sim Racing Collective's Indy 500 event just a week or so ago.
It was actually, I think, yesterday.
Oh, yesterday. I see.
It was over the weekend, yeah.
He definitely drank the milk on that one, didn't he?
If you guys haven't seen the clip, it's one of the funniest things I've seen in a good while. But yeah, he drank a pitcher of milk. I got to see the clip myself, but yeah, it's worthwhile having a look at. A few drivers diving back to pit lane. That might have been somebody that was on a dry tyre looking for a wet. I can tell you there's a mix of tyres out there at the moment. Jack Cromwell Jr. is on a dry tyre, so he's worthwhile. I do wonder whether or not that's right. Sometimes the way things work, you're not 100% sure of what tyres these guys have got on, but yeah, I can confirm Cromwell Jr. is on a dry tyre. So this will be a mixed session for tyres. You may actually have to come back to the pits to strap the other tyre back on and then have another crack.
Big oversteer for Cameron Dance there, who is one of the drivers on that dry tyre from what I can see. He's really struggling for that ever crucial traction coming out of the corner onto this long back straight. How's the car handle on its way through the S's down to Dandenong Road is the question. High speeds in a car that is built for mechanical grip. He's soaring away at the wheel and just managing to keep it off the curbs there in the right-hander, but that's ruined his entry into Dandenong Road. It looks like the dry tyre is definitely not where you want to go. Lots of gravel on the racetrack out of turn 9. That's going to make things quite difficult even for drivers on wets when they come out of there.
Yeah, Arthur Brown is actually on a wet tyre at the moment. I think Scotty McQueen, that was him just diving out of the sequence. He's in dry tyres. He dives to pit lane. So now we get an interesting one. Remember back at Homestead, and we had that mix of tyres, and it was a bunch of guys up front that went for the wet tyre because they needed to make a safe call. Sparrow sets an early quick time. Corbin's gone to the top. Corbin's on a dry tyre. But have a look at the time between them all. Sprague is only 7/10 off the pace. He's on a wet tyre. This is right on the crossover here, Reese.
Certainly is. Avon Dunn's just gone to P2 on a 127.4. That's only about 0.4 of a second slower than Corbin, and he's on a wet tyre as well. Corey Croson putting a dry tyre time in, and Antal Sabo, who's on the wets, immediately going to the top. First driver in the 1:25s. The championship leader getting his qualifying session off to the perfect start.
Yeah, that's a big statement. The fact that he's on wet tyres and he's going quick says, yeah, it's probably It's probably just a touch gone in terms of what those tyres are capable of. But the fact that Corbin's right there, I mean, the margin's 1 second really, isn't it? So picking your tyres quite crucial. Sabo's having issues on the wet tyre, so I'd say we're definitely beyond the crossover point. But based upon what I'm seeing is we are right at the back end of the rain. So the problem is we've got about 10 minutes left in this session. Your fastest time is going to be set in those last minutes. It could cross back over to a dry tyre again. We may only be on a wet tyre for a very, very short period of time. But look, this is a gamble. This qualifying session is going to be a huge gamble, Reese.
Yeah, I think the majority of the session's going to be taken up with drivers just clearing water off the racetrack here. The rain is lightening and stopping, and looking at the weather radar, the bank of rain that came over the circuit is now moving away from it. So we are not going to be seeing any more rain for the remainder of the qualifying session. So that the crucial thing, though, is when does that switch over come? When is the circuit going to be dry enough for those tyres?
So James Corbin was on those dry tyres. He was, you saw him on the outside there. He was the car that Sabo went up the inside of. He's come to pit lane. He's going to do a crossover here. Just having a quick look at Brown. I think Brown might actually be on a wet tyre as well. Yeah, so the top 3 drivers are on wet tyres at the moment. And then you've got the first of the dry tyre runners. The problem is, Reese, I think it is going to go back to a dry tyre. But it's going to be late in the session. But you've got to, I think it's going to take you too long to get that tyre back up to temperature and pressure. So I think you've got to stay out. You just got to run the risk through the middle of this session and just hope.
I mean, it's a fixed setup series, so the cars have enough fuel in them to complete the distance of race 2, which, as we said, is 19 laps. So there's definitely no fuel disadvantage to staying out there and just circulating to get the water off the racetrack. But you got to try and balance that, I think, with tire life. You know, even though these tires, I find that they tend to hold on to their pace quite a bit. So yeah, I mean, how much mileage do you really want to put on them is the question. Are they at their best when they are fresh out of the pits?
Hamish Cleland has not had a supreme amount of pace this season, and he goes to P2 on a wet tyre. So that says definitely wet tyre right now. Sparrow actually improved his time, as did Ewan Baker, and they're still out there on a dry tyre. Once you get off of turn 4 and run down that back straightaway, there's so little spray. That's a dry tyre section of the racetrack. Rain is, yeah, it's dry tyres. If you're out there on a wet, you need to get in now.
Yeah, just slap some dry tires on, get out there and just keep lapping for the next 8 minutes, and just make sure that when you cross the line to start your final lap, you absolutely nail it. And I think the hard cut to the end of the session will come into play as well. This is a multi-race server that we have here, and if you set up a multi-race server in iRacing, once qualifying ends, that's it. You'll be teleported off the racetrack regardless of whether you're on your final lap or not. So you'll have to start your final lap with, I'd say, about 1 minute and 30 seconds on the clock, just to give you that margin.
Yeah, so 13 minutes, 30 seconds into this session is going to be the critical time. Spray's already lessening down the front straight away. Baker's already gone to the top. Sabo's on a wet tyre still. I tell you what, the margin between those guys at the top is 0.05 of a second. There's nothing between them. And that when we're talking about crossover times, that's what we're talking about. We're literally on the buffer time right now. There's a car backwards. That's Mark Mallard out of the final corner. So he's going to get himself gathered back up. What's Sabo going to do here? No, he's going to continue on. That's the wrong call. That is absolute. And the reason why it's the wrong call, we've got 6.5 minutes left. That's 3 laps. You've got to change the tyres as well. He's literally going to have 1 lap if he crosses over at the end of this one. He needed to be in the lane now.
Yeah, well, we'll see if that works out for Antal Sabo. Scott doesn't think it will, but you might think differently depending on how the conditions are going to benefit the dry tyres later on here. Lap coming in from Nathan Allen, who's also on the wet tyre. I mean, like you say, and like we've been saying, those times from the dry tyre runners are going to start coming in here in the next few minutes, but for the moment, everyone from 2nd to 6th on the timesheets set their time on a wet tyre.
I'm looking over Giddy, 7th place. I think he's coming in to change back over. Lane goes a touch faster. Corbin's gone faster. So Corbin's still on wet tyres.
Sprague on the wets goes to pole.
Wow. Okay.
I think we're still in the crossover period. I don't think there's going to be a clear advantage to either tyre yet.
No, so it's you've made your bed, and the problem is you've made your bed, now you've got to lie in it. So if you're changing tyre right now, the difficulty you'll have is that you're not going to understand what the car's capable of until you're on that tyre. So you maybe get one lap with your warm-up to go, oh, it's bad here, it's bad there. Here's where I've really got to position the car really well. Here I'm in a great spot. Sabo comes to the line. I don't think that was a valid lap time, 24.718. It actually was. It's a new fastest lap. So he improves again. The interesting thing, I think, in the mix of this is that because we're still in that crossover time, the wets are not going to cook. They're not going to overheat. We're right on the limit of that. And when this session ends, I think you definitely want to be on a dry tyre. If we were about to start a race, you'd be picking a dry tyre, basically, is what I'd be saying.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and even considering all of that, isn't the dry tire on these cars one that has a bit of tread on it anyway? I'm pretty sure it is, unless I'm completely wrong. Full on slick, I see.
Full on slick. Yeah.
Yeah, righto. So that just makes the dry tire times here all the more impressive. The fact that they've been able to hold on to as much pace as they have, especially in the case of Baker, who now goes back to the top. Times are coming down. The line is drying out. And so I think now we might start to see those dry tire runners move a little bit further up.
Right now, if you pit right now, you've got enough time to get the tires swapped, get an outlap in, and go. You get one lap. So if you're changing over and you do it right now, but the track is improving regardless. So you've got to be on a lap at the back end of this session. Sabo goes again 3-2, so we're just going to see this is going to flip-flop for the rest of the session. The interesting thing about the wet tyre is because you've got a tread block that's moving around, it actually saps straight line speed out of the cars. We talked about that back at Homestead, Miami. So Sabo's making up 0.3 plus a little bit in the corners, and then the dry tyres are just gaining all of that back on the straight line. That's their gain. It's such a... This is one of those interesting things where you actually get the GT3 where you've got a GT3 car that's quicker in the corners and then another one that's faster on the straights. It's literally that debate, Reese. This is brilliant.
Yeah, this is exactly what we want to see from the final round qualifying here. 3 minutes on the clock just about, and if you're Alex Sprague and you're starting a lap now, you're going to have 2 more laps remaining in your session. Sparrow to the top on the dries. Aben Dunn. Oh my goodness, a raft of times here. Gronwald, Dunn, Harding, Dance, all getting into the top 6 there on the dries. I think we're in it now.
Yeah, it's literally right now is crossed over. So we said, but it's preparation, it's planning for it. And look, it's a tough call. But straight up, you don't want to be making one of these calls for one of these drivers because then you're stuck with it. Is it a good call? Is it a bad call? Where do you want to be on that line? That is such an impossible call to make. I tell you what, Bewley goes like, yeah, it's done. It's done. The wet tire guys are done. There's nothing they can do about it now.
Yeah, Sabo did make an improvement on that lap and moved himself back up to 7th. He's the only driver in the top 10 that has set a time on the wets. Anna Klemic qualifying P10. That's almost as good as her 5th place qualifying at Motegi. It's been a varied season for the number 15 there. How does Scotty McQueen go here? The Moser top performer from last round. He started on the wets and he's come back out onto the dries. He's spent 3 laps on those dry weather tires at the moment. But I think this is going to be his last lap here. There's 1 minute and 40 on the clock. You're not going to be able to make it to the start-finish line again in time.
Yeah, he's just out of time. So for last week's effectively driver of the day and, strong performer for Scotty McQueen, masterclass to disaster class at the moment. Bryce Harding back to P2. Here comes the lap times. They're all improving massively at the back end of this session. We're beyond that crunch time. You set a lap time now, that's it. You haven't got enough time. I tell you what, McQueen will have enough time. He's got about a second up his sleeve. So no mistakes. He will get this lap time in.
He needs to nail it, and it needs to be a legendary lap. He's trailing the brakes a bit there in the first corner. And he might have some traffic to deal with here. We're going to wait for those final few times to come in. The reason you saw the times switch around so much is that Cameron Dance, Jack Gronwald, Ewan Baker, Sprague and Harding, they are all together on the same bit of racetrack. They are setting times all at once here. So it's all going to come down to this final lap here. Avon Dunn going to second place. A massive improvement. Joins Ewan Baker in the 1 minute 22 second bracket. The final corners are coming up for the pack led by Cameron Dance here. We focus on them now with Jack Gronwald right in the midst of it. And out of the final corner they come. What's it going to come down to here? Last raft of lap times with 15 seconds to go. Josh Lane improving to 22nd place. Dance and Gronwald to what is now 3rd and 4th as Baker goes ever faster. And in the final dying seconds of the lap, Baker has done it. Cleland going up from 24th to 2nd. And McQueen just sneaks in. Oh, he gets himself up to 7th. Wow, what an end.
McQueen got that lap time in with less than a second, Reese. Less than a second. The timer ticked over from 59 to 15 minutes right as he crossed the line. He just got that lap in.
That's crazy. What an insane end to the qualifying session. I love drying tracks.
15th. Sabo's 15th, Reese.
Yeah, again, massive. Our top 10 in qualifying here with Baker only separated from Cleland by less than a 10th. Sparrow, Dance and Gronwall rounding out your top 5 with Dunn, McQueen, Brown, Harding and Sprague rounding out those top 10s. Anna Clemic putting into 11th, then Oakes, Bewley, Williams and our championship leader 1.5 seconds off.
Wow. Have a look at this raft of drivers. Boards back there. Justin Davies, Corey Crowson's been a lot further forward than that. Did he pick the wrong tyres? James Corbin, 19th. So James, have a look at it. Sabo, 15th. Corbin, 19th. Leo Duncan, 20th. That's 3 of the top 4 in the championship right there. Aidan Gregory from AJ Giddy, James Watson, Josh Lane, Herbert Allen, Hayden Kirk and Noah Kitcher, year 28. Mallard didn't get a lap time in with the changeable conditions. And most importantly is Mitchell Sparrow, your championship contender, P3.
Yeah, this could be a massive points swing coming into the final round of the season. But Ewan Baker is with us now, pole sitter for the first of our races here. Big thanks to Cream Insurance for bringing us the pole position award. Ewan, man, the dry tyres were the tyres to be on practically from the very start.
Yeah, it's just taking a quick look at track conditions and sort of what the sort of weather was looking at. Only a small rain band coming through, so you just go out there, get the heat into things, try and tag on into a draft and let the track come to you. So yeah, it worked out very well. I got quite lucky at the end, I think, with the timing. I had 7 seconds or something left and across the line, so it was just that peak track was the driest for just about anyone out there, and yeah, it paid off.
It's a big first race here for you. You're 5th in the championship on a level with Leo Duncan coming into this round. And with Antal Sabo qualifying as far down as he has, this could be a big opportunity for you guys to get some massive points here in the first race.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, at this point in the series, I think it would be daft to count Antal out. He'll be charging his way through. So, yeah, it's just try and keep it clean. I mean, this series, don't think I've qualified worse than 4th. In the first race of every round, I've been on the podium so far. It's just everything after that completely falls to pieces for me, which, you know, a lot of it comes down to me. I think it's racecraft stuff that I still need to get better at. But yeah, just try and get a bit of consistency on the final round. If I can get top 10s these 3 races, I think I'd call that a win. And yeah, just try and build from here. So we'll see, get the start, draft heavy track. Could be pretty mad and very hard to sort of stretch a lead out the front, but I'll give it a crack and see how I go.
Well, congratulations on pole, Ewan. Best of luck in the first race. We'll hopefully catch you afterwards.
Thank you very much.
Ewan Baker there, pole position for the first race of the night here at Sandown, the final round of the NZ Toyota 86E Cup. He will be joined on the front row by Hamish Cleland in car number 41 for Frog Leap Juiced Racing. Mitchell Sparrow, championship second place, qualifies in third, and he's going to be starting alongside Orbit Drop Bear's Cameron Dance. Jack Gronwald Jr. in fifth place, starting alongside Avon Dunn on the third row. Scotty McQueen getting 7th place in the dying half a second of the qualifying session with Arthur Brown alongside him on row 4. Our top 10, Scott, rounded out by Bryce Harding and Alex Sprague.
Yeah, that's it. Outside of the 10, Anna Clemic just barely misses on scraping into the 10. She'll line up alongside of Tyler Oakes, also making a good call on the tyres in the dying stages of that session. Tom Bewley has returned to the series. He was on dry tyres as well, had pace at one point. Sorry, he was in wets and really stuck it all the way up there. Tyler Williams will be alongside of him. Here we find the biggest result of the session. Antal Sabo, 15th on the grid. He'll be lining up alongside of Michael Port. Survival will be the critical thing for lap 1. Can he gain some spots in the meantime? Justin Davies and Corey Croson, 17th and 18th. And a couple more surprises round out your 20. James Corbin and Leo Duncan have driven some phenomenal races. They're going to have to drive some big ones here.
Yeah, long way down for them. Row 11, Aidan Gregory and AJ Giddy. Giddy, one of the wild cards here, thanks to Cream Insurance. James Watson and Josh Lane on row 12. Then Joel Herbert starts alongside Nathan Allen on row number 13. Hayden Kirk and Noah Kitcher, the last drivers to set times in qualifying. Our man from Cream Insurance, Mr. Mark Mallard, himself did not set a time in qualifying, so we're not sure on his exact pace here, but we're getting ready for the start right now. The timer is about to run out, and we're about to see these cars throw up some potential spray. The track is officially classified as dry by iRacing, but the revs rise, and we're about to see who's going to get the best start here. Race 1 is go, and it looks like a better initial getaway from Hamish Cleland off the front row. He's going to lead into the braking zone for turn 1 as swapping to the inside there. Looks like one of the Mackenzie Motorsport cars of Arthur Brown. They make it through turn 1 cleanly up the front, and it looks like minimal drama in the midfield as well. Baker loses the lead coming into turn 4, but like he said in our interview, it's a draft-heavy track. He can easily stick in the slipstream.
I heard a little bit of contact out at the rear end of the field as well. And in the meantime, Sabo's grabbed 2 spots on the run down to turn number 1. He was forced to slot in a little bit. Now he's having difficulties trying to pick things off, and unfortunately they're trying to cut their way through. At the moment, deeper in the field, Clemic is going to have a big red Vermilion Motorsports machine coming her way. At the moment, you can see it right there as they crest the hill up at turn 6. Ewan Baker, though, has got a job to do at the front. Sparrow, think about what he's going through. He's lost a spot off the start. Now Jack Gromwald Jr. is going to try and pull alongside as well.
Yep, defensive there for Sparrow coming into the final turn. Just enough room being left for Gromwald to squeeze through, but only just. And it looks like Sparrow's going to get the exit out of the last corner. They're starting to lose touch with the top 3 now. Hamish Cleland got a great exit out of the final corner, and he leads by half a second at the end of the first lap.
Big thing, though, Mitchell Sparrow's dropped the draft to the front 3, so now he's going to be a little bit vulnerable. Here comes Gromwald Jr. Avon Dunn's trying to show a nose on the run down to turn number 1 as well. Needs to have a very big turn 1, and he did. It was critical to get back within a second. He's got that margin down to 3/4 of a second. Back in the tow for now, but he's got to have a couple of big laps right here.
Saw Hamish Cleland get into the grass coming out of the chicane just a little bit. He's managed to maintain the momentum and still leads by that crucial half a second over Ewan Baker and Cameron Dance. Mitchell Sparrow has managed to regain some pace in sector 1. And, oh yeah, it's looking 3 wide in the midfield. Scotty McQueen, Avon Dunn and Alex Sprague into the turn leading up to Dandenong Road. That's difficult. It's given the benefit to Antal Sabo behind, though. That 3 wide moment gave him the opportunity, but he's struggling to find a consistent line through that section. There's always a car where he needs to be.
Safety car's been deployed. Car off the road down in the first sector. It's Corey Croson who's done out of the first chicane down at corner 2 and 3. So we'll get a safety car deployed right here. We'll get a moment to catch up, but you're right, Sabo's just not being able to get his way through.
Yeah, he's has made up a few spots, but is only up to 11th. Replay coming up here to see what exactly brought out this safety car. It was a 3-wide moment with Crowson in the middle, James Corbin to his left, and Tom Bewley to his right. As they make their way into the chicane here, you'll see that James Corbin turns in and basically bounces Crowson into Bewley. Or actually, Bewley got away with that, but still massive damage for Corey Crowson. The rear drive shaft broken thanks to the contact coming in from the likes of AJ Giddy and Justin Davies, who had nowhere to go.
Yeah, well, the thing is, from Corey Crowson's perspective, you can go 3 wide in there. He's in a difficult position where a car's sent a very late switch, as Bewley. Bewley's been very aggressive to his inside. Late bomb. Bewley probably should have backed out there. He had no... And the problem for the car on the outside for Corbin is that there's no way that he would have known that they were 3 wide either until a very, very late moment, and his mirrors would have been blocked, so he would have had no sight about Tom Bewley sending up the inside.
Yeah, not ideal for Corey Crowson, who is our first retirement from this race. Very low speeds from the safety car here, and it looks like maybe some technical issues for the safety car as well. Internet not quite holding up, but Hamish Cleland will get his opportunity here to have a rest and consider how he negotiates this restart that's going to be coming up very shortly. The safety car already starting to pull away from the field here, and we'll get ready for the restart very shortly. It's all going to be about defense from Ewan Baker here. Cleland needs to take them by surprise to get the gap early.
Yeah, that's going to be a big thing, because otherwise he'll be super vulnerable in that turn 1. The other option is back him up, back him up, back him up, back him up, go very, very late, which will shorten the run down to turn 1 and the amount of draft that they possibly can do. So, for the
Safety
meantime...
car's staying out.
Yeah, it's staying out. I was going to do one more lap. Sabo got all the way up to 11th spot. Work to do. So margin between each of the places is 1 point. Now, if we remember back to the math that we were doing earlier, and Reese, you're banned from doing math, by the way. Take the napkin away. Take your hands away from the calculator, sir.
Yeah, my index finger is retracted.
But the margin is... you know what? Go back on the points. Forget it. Forget I said anything. No, the margin's 38 points that we've got between our race leaders. So that's effectively 38 spots across the course of 3 races. What are we looking at? 10 spots, 13 spots a race is the margin that we need to get. So that again says to me that if Mitchell Sparrow wins every single race, Sabo must finish 14th or worse in every single race. He would get it by a single point. That's what we're looking at. So.
Right, that's the status of the championship battle here. So, yeah, if even if Antal Sabo finishes 10th in every single race, it will be good enough for him to take the title. So, basically, Mitchell Sparrow needs everything to go his way here. He needs Sabo to be involved in something and come away with a non-points finish from at least 2 of these races to really be in with a chance. But the safety car is pulling away from the rest of the field, and we'll have to get back to racing action in just a few moments' time. Cleland absolutely nailed the standing start there, and it'll be up to him to control when the field gets back to full throttle. Out of the final corner, may very well put it down, but he may wait a little bit and take them by surprise somewhere on the run up to the start-finish line. We're going to find out in just a few moments. Cleland, Baker, and Dance, your top 3. Yeah, he's already gone, and it looks like Baker is sticking with him here as the green flag flies, and we are back to racing here in race 1 at Sandown. Crucial for the likes of Sparrow, Gronwald, and Browen. They haven't lost too much more time to the top 3 here, and they might be able to stick with them here. Baker's certainly sticking with Cleland into turn 1.
One of the big things actually in that first stanza of this race was that Sparrow actually said to Gromwald, drop in line, mate. We're losing the front 3. So he was not happy that Gromwald was fighting him at such a critical point of the race. And
oh no! That's Bryce Harding that's gone around at turn 4. Only car to go around at that section of the track, but disaster for the 79 on the restart.
Has to sit there and painfully watch and wait for every single car to come through, and there's not much they can really do. Cleland's having to block a little bit for position at the moment, just trying to cover it, trying to maintain track position on Ewan Baker. Cameron Dance spies an opportunity, gets a nose up the inside. Baker trying to go for the exit at the moment. I tell you what, it's getting spicy. That was Gromore Jr. wide, so he's now going to lose touch with the race leaders, which means he'll be up and circulating on his own for now. Cleland gets the job done into the final couple corners, settles it down, looking for a little bit of drive. Sparrow's got to try and do something, is the big kicker at the moment. Sabo's on the outside of Avon Dunn right now out of the last corner.
Yeah, can Antal Sabo move further into the top 10 here? He's been making up positions very consistently over this time span. And Bewley, McQueen and Williams also together too. James Corbin has got them right ahead of them as they're almost 3 wide into turn 1, and Corbin takes advantage as McQueen gets a bit squirrely there. Oh no, that's Avon Dunn that's gotten contact from, I think, Anna Klemic and going off. No, it was Sabo? Okay, well.
Sabo's on the fence! Sabo's on the fence on the 4! Oh no, he's in trouble!
Oh, this is bad. Antal Sabo now with lost momentum and some damage to the car here. He's not going to be passed by Tom Bewley, but he'll have to stick in the slipstream if he wants to preserve that straight line speed.
Something happened to Scotty McQueen as well. He's got damage somehow.
Yeah, I saw McQueen with a twitch coming out of turn 1, so I think he's I think maybe he's just either focusing on self-preservation or he's had an issue himself coming out of turn 4. Yeah, it actually looks like he's just been nabbed by quite a few drivers on this lap. They've just been able to take advantage of his lack of momentum there.
Yeah, well, he's going to have less momentum, so whatever's going on there. So it was contact between Sabo and Avon Dunn. The other thing I was just about to talk about is you pick yourself up a driving infringement, that's 5 points. So that's 5 spots effectively for Sabo. I don't know that he's at fault for that previous one. I actually, with Avon Dunn, I don't necessarily, because he bounced over the curb and he had to sort of rejoin the track a little bit, which is the natural racing line down at turn 1. I don't know that he's going to get a penalty for that. I think it's pretty much line ball, it's racing deal, squabbling back and forth. But the big concern for me was running wide off the apex of turn 4 and grabbing the barriers. He does have a touch of damage, and with the low amount of speed and horsepower, these things are super sensitive to that. Corbin and Bewley are going to go for it just ahead of him. And in fact, Bewley's actually passed Sabo on that last lap as well.
Yeah, good pace from Bewley, but oh yeah, it is dangerous here with Corbin and Bewley side by side. Back to the lead for the moment. Arthur Brown and Mitchell Sparrow trading spots for third as Cleland and Baker are breaking away from the rest of the pack. I also reviewed the incident between Antal Sabo and Avon Dunn, and it just looks to me like it might have been a racing incident deal. Yep. Dunn got some oversteer off of turn 1, and Sabo didn't really do anything wrong there. But this is massive. The top 2 breaking away from the rest of the field, and Sabo is struggling to move his way up now. He's still back in 12th.
Well, he's actually losing spots. He was 11th at the start of the last lap. Tyler Williams has now gone to the inside. And I didn't quite hear what race control said. Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to have to go back and have a listen to that one.
All right. Well, we're going to continue on here for the time being out of turn 4, and we're rapidly starting to reach the final phases of this race. Cleland and Baker have done enough to find their way out to a gap where they can battle amongst themselves, but it's all on behind. Brown, Dance, Gromwald, Sprague all together as we get news of a replay of the incident between Sabo and Avon Dunn. We'll get another view of it here. So you'll notice that Avon Dunn, once he comes off of the first turn here, actually this is down at Dandenong Road. This is a different incident. Oh my goodness. Wow, the number 4 of Tom Bewley going for a huge dive, and Sabo ending up offline and losing a couple of spaces out of that one. Okay, so that was a different incident to the one I thought it was going to be, but that's all good. Hamish Cleland continuing to lead as we have 6 laps to go now. And This is a massive opportunity for points for both he and Ewan Baker. Fastest lap of the entire race belongs to Arthur Brown for the moment on a 121.3. Everyone else is running about 0.5 of a second slower at the moment.
Yeah, at the moment, Sabo is a little bit on the slide, so he's just trying to work and figure out his pace and whatnot's going on. I went back and had a listen to the race control call as a response to that incident between Sabo and Dunn down at turn 1, the exit of turn 1. The call was cars converged. Both cars made movements towards each other. Therefore, no car was primarily at fault. Racing incident, no penalty. And that's critical because those 5 points would be relevant in this one. He's outside the 10 for Sabo at the moment, and he's can't sort of cut his way through. He's not getting really any benefit from the draft at the moment. It's just sort of holding him steady. So he needs to find one more spot. That puts him in the lead for race 2. He does that. He gets the race win. That's enough to win the championship. So, but don't forget, we've got more rain coming.
Yep, that's always a worry that's creeping over the drivers' heads, as that's deep for Bewley at Dandenong Road. And Sabo sees an opportunity to fire around the outside of the final chicane. He's got to be super late on the brakes and stay alongside, but he can't get it done. Bewley bouncing over the curbs to try and keep the position. Sabo tries to get the momentum, but Bewley slows up on the exit of the corner, and now there's going to be a double-pronged attack here from Leo Duncan and Tyler Williams.
Yeah, Williams is going to switch back to the left-hand side of the road. Tom Bewley's going to cover it to the left-hand side of the road. Blocks him up at the apex of the last couple of corners, and then just sort of checked him up. Nowhere left for him to go. Sabo's back to 13th now. Duncan looking for every opportunity. Nothing doing. Right. You thought nothing could happen. We thought the championship was over. And then you come and this race starts, and all of a sudden things are just starting to unravel. And I just think, Reese, I just think back to Porsche Cup last year, and I just wonder whether or not the pressure just might get to him in these sorts of situations. He's a bigger driver. He's a better driver. He learned lessons from last year, but now he's got to apply all of that. He gets an opportunity to reset after this race, but if he can't reset and reflip from 10th spot, he's in trouble. The biggest thing that's in his favour right now is Sparrow's not leading this thing. If he was, we might have a race on our hands.
Oh, that's a big dive there from Antal Sabo. Just slips up the inside at Dandenong Road, but the tighter line means less speed. And Leo Duncan will hold on to 11th place for now. Sabo moves back again, but he's going to go around the outside of Williams. He's getting desperate, and he turns Duncan around.
That one might be on him. That one actually might be on him, and that might trigger something. You can see Duncan reach for the microphone straight away. He's going to call that one into race control. He was looking at his dash, he was looking for a lap number, he's looking for turn numbers. So that one's now in the hands of the stewards. Sabo's back to 13th. If that's a penalty, I think he's in trouble. I really, really think he might be in trouble on that one, Reese.
We're going to have live race standings after every single race at this rate. This is turning into a final round that has proven very difficult for us to keep track of here. But Antal Sabo in 13th still sees that race to pole position in the hands of Tom Bewley up ahead of him, but Bewley is creeping away. Mitchell Sparrow, meanwhile, has moved into second place, and Ewan Baker is to the lead. This is massive.
Yeah, so this changes things quite significantly. Now he's going to run wide on Hamish Cleland, and Brown goes through as well. Well, if there's penalties for both of them, that neutralises effectively net neutral, but Brown comes through and nicked the spot. Reese, I hate to say it, but I think this one might end up being decided in the steward's office at this rate. It's gone nuts at Sandown. Absolutely nuts.
Absolutely it has. Ewan Baker made that move for the lead half a lap ago. So
Barrow lifts it off. He's redressing.
Yeah, there we go. Barrow lets Hamish Cleland back past him here, but Cleland has lost that fight for the lead for now. And it'll be up to him to try and catch up to Arthur Brown here, who now has that clear track ahead of him. But he's going to have Sparrow all over the back of him once again, is Hamish Cleland. And look who's joining the party, Gronwald and Dance. This has been a non-stop action race. We haven't had an opportunity to take a breather the whole way since that safety car came in.
Yeah, so this is Sparrow now trying to line it back up. I think he's going to have another go here, and to be honest with you, he probably doesn't know it, but he does need to have a go. I think he's got to get every point on the board that he possibly can. Gets to the inside of Cleland this time. They'll be neck and neck as they enter over the crest of the hill at turn 6 on the run into Dandenong Road. Very wide for Cleland. He's going to be able to now once they all trying to line him up from in behind. Here comes Cromwell Jr. Cameron Dance will be there as well. Job done for Sparrow. Back to third on the road. We'll have 2 more laps left to run about Sandown International Raceway. Here comes your final 6Ks of race 1. And Reese, this series, mate. I need a pacemaker. Can somebody get me some anti-anxiety tablets? I need my meds. I'm going nuts.
Yeah, I need some low blood pressure medication at this rate. I already have high blood pressure. This is only making it worse. Man, this is crazy. Dance is trying to find a lane to take here on the way into turn 1. Cleland and Groenewald side by side on the way into turn 1, and Groenewald will bump Cleland wide a little bit. Late on the brakes around the outside of the chicane, the side-by-side continues, and there's nothing that Danson can do here because the track is so narrow at this point.
Yeah, he'll just have to be forced to sit and wait. Gromore Jr. and Cleland are starting to side draft each other. And here comes Sparrow. Can he get back to the leaders? Because it's critical. If he finishes second, to be honest, at this moment, I think he's got to. I think he's got to try and get there. He's such a big margin further back. But have a look at the battling that's going on in behind these guys as well. For 2x2, Sprague nearly got a door from Cameron Dance. Cleland gets a little bit unstable as he enters down at turn 7, Dandenong Road, and Dance will sweep through, pick the spot off. Cleland's led laps today. Now he's back to 6th.
Yeah, this is some great driving that we're seeing from all of these guys. A little bit of contact, but not enough to really define the racing. It's more an extra bit of spice on top, you could say. So Groenewald is going to stick all the way to the left-hand side here and force Dance to go the long way around as the white flag flies. Now he's switching back to the racing line on the way into turn 1. Dance sees the door open to the left. And how late does he want to be on the brakes here? Scythes his way into turn 1, and Groenewald tries to cut back, but it's not enough. Dance is going to get 4th place, and there's the opportunity for Cleland to get a spot back, but he goes airborne, and that sends Jack Groenewald into the wall.
I can't, that's just another sad tale to this one. A sting in the tail in the last few moments. The top 10 finish was beckoning. Sabo's now back to 11th on the road. And Cleland calls himself in for that one. He knows he's at fault. He knows.
Yeah, it was a desperate defense there from Cleland. He was tasting a podium early on, but ultimately it will come to naught. Ewan Baker, he's just minded his own business at the front of this field. Pole position for the race. He had to stick in the slipstream for a while, but he got the lead back and did not look back from there. First race winner of the night for the final round of the NZ Toyota 86E Cup. Ewan Baker, across the line he'll come very shortly, flashing the lights in celebration. Good to take a win in the final round, and a great first race here for Mackenzie Motorsports as well, as Brown and Sparrow will complete the podium.
Yeah, really, really strong results from them, but Sparrow needed to be one spot further forward. You just think in championship contention, maybe if their teammates just swap in the cars, give Sparrow every opportunity to potentially finish further up. Sabo finishes 11th, and that's 8 points gained for Mitchell Sparrow, but it's not gonna, he needed more than that. He needed 13 points gained, so now he's -5. He's got to find an additional 5 points, but then again, if there's fault for incidents, and that's 5 points minus, well, that might change things.
Certainly might. Last of our finishers, Mark Mallard from Cream Insurance, had a quiet race down there, and he'll be classed ultimately ahead of AJ Giddy and Corey Croson there in the end. Those are your top 10, Baker, Brown, Sparrow, Dance and Sprague, with Cleland, Klemick, Corbin, Bewley and Williams. Flip them, and that is your top 10 for race 2. And well, we'll see Antal Sabo finishing 11th there, only just missing out on grabbing race 2 pole, which could have really turned his night around. He's still going to be mired in the midfield here in the longest race of the night.
Yeah, and rain is coming, Reese. Rain is coming.
Certainly is. Massive potential for weather here, but we have Mitchell Sparrow in with us at the moment. Mitchell, things look like they were falling apart a little bit here after Long Beach. You didn't quite get the results you needed to stay in touch with Sabo there, but it seems like race 1 of the final round has blessed you.
Yeah, cheers for that, Reese. Obviously, Long Beach, yeah, I don't know if we talk about it or if we just put it behind us, but obviously coming into this week, we've turned up with a lot of pace. I didn't actually do any testing this week. I just wanted to try and keep it nice and relaxed and keep it fun. And obviously, yeah, the car that we rolled out, it's been pretty fast. Same for the whole team. Like you look, then we had P2 for Arthur Bewley, who's been away for a couple of rounds. Bangs at P9, starts off the front row for the next one, and both our other cars, Aid and AJ, got pace as well. Just the luck needs to fall their way. So yeah, I mean, can't complain so far. Obviously, championship-wise, yeah, it is what it is. I was always here to just win races and have some fun and try and build the brand. So, yeah, if we can bring home P2 in the championship, that'll be pretty cool. And yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You're going to be starting from 8th position for this second race. It is the longest of the night. We have 19 laps ahead of us, and the track is still dry for now, but there's more potential later on for rain to come. Question is, are you guys prepared for that?
Yeah, bring the rain. You know, let's end the season with a bang. It's been pretty cool. Racing's been awesome. Yeah, I think what way would it be better to finish with a bit of rain at Sandown to end the championship?
Yeah, we're thinking the same up here in the comms box. Well, second place in the championship coming into this round, and you got enough points in race 1 to keep yourself well in that fight. Let's see how race 2 goes. Mitch, thanks very much for joining us.
Cheers, boys. Thanks very much. Hopefully this isn't the last I get to talk to you guys tonight. Thank you.
Same here. Mitchell Sparrow there, finishing on the podium in race 1. But Scott, it's time for us to turn our attention to that second race, and Tyler Williams is going to start on pole for this one alongside Tom Bewley. James Corbin and Anna Klemick, her best starting position of the season there in 4th, with Hamish Cleland starting 5th alongside Alex Sprague. Cameron Dance going to start in 7th place alongside Mitchell Sparrow, who we just had a chat to, and Arthur Brown and Ewan Baker round out that top 10. And once we get outside the top 10, there's the man that we'll be watching.
Yeah, Antal Sabo off of 11th. Avon Dunn 12th. Leo Duncan and Hayden Gregory going to be off of row number 7. Hayden Kirk, remember, he needs to perform here tonight to help assist that team's championship. Lines up alongside of James Watson. Gromore Jr. contact on the final lap drops him to 17th spot in that first race. He was on for a phenomenal finish. 18th with Josh Lane alongside of him. Taylor Oakes and Noah Kitcher round out your 20.
21st place, Joel Herbert. He gained 4 spots in race 1. Scotty McQueen fell way down at the order. He has to settle for 22nd there. Nathan Allen starting alongside Bryce Harding, who had a spin in turn 4. In race 1, Justin Davies as well, looking for a bit more out of this one. Same for Michael Board. They're both down quite a few positions. Mark Mallard starting alongside AJ Giddy on the 14th row, and Corey Croson will take the final spot on the grid here. We saw a massive drive from him at Long Beach, purely staying out of trouble. Elevated himself up. Maybe he'll be hoping for more of the same here in race 2 at Sandown.
Yeah, potentially. This is going to be a difficult one. So I've just recognised why I've sucked as a weatherman the last couple of rounds. And the reason for that is we're actually running this as a B main, not a constellation. I was looking at constellations and going, hang on, the timestamp's a lot later in the day. I was expecting this to be much, much later. There's a dry period through in the middle of the day here, and this race is going to be dry. But like I said, that final race of the day is up around a 70% chance of rain. If we're going to see heavy rain, it's going to be changeable conditions for the finale, but this one's bone dry as well.
Yes, indeed. Well, it's going to be all about getting the run off the line once again. The drivers have had plenty of practice this season getting these cars off the grid. Well, let's see who puts that theory into practice here for the start of the 19-lap race 2 here in the NZ Toyota 86E Cup. Away we go, and that is a lightning getaway from Tom Bewley, but the second phase of the start seems to belong to Tyler Williams. Up at the front, immediately moving over as James Corbin to try and protect some positions. Klemick on the outside coming into turn 1 with Hamish Cleland stuck in the middle there. He's going to have to yield potentially coming into the chicane here, but he's going to get it in there. 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 all the way down this field as they struggle to sort themselves out. Antal Sabo is still in 11th place in the midst of all of this. He needs to try and find some clear spots here to try making moves. Tom Bewley leading from Tyler Williams, but only by a couple hundredths of a second. Williams has the inside line for the S's.
Yeah, this is going to be a difficult one, and have a look at them left and right, weaving up and down the back straight away as well. Klemek has got an outside run up and across the crest of the hill. These three at the front are gone on the rest of the field for now. Huge incident. Cleland just got rotated. Klemek's involved as well.
Oh, Klemek stopping on track in front of the rest of the field there. That resulted in a big pile up. And Sabo only just got away with that. He just escaped. Anna Klemek with massive damage will tour into the gravel trap. And that's going to be the end of her night. We're definitely going to see a safety car from this one.
Oh, boy. Yeah, it called immediately. Absolutely immediately. The big question mark was Sabo got away with it with no damage. You're right, he dodged it by millimeters. That could have been championship up in smoke, and that's... He got a touch in the rear on the way into that one. Oh, boy. Left rear corner of Sabo's car has a tiny, tiny touch up. But I was just going to say, Reese, running into that one, the biggest issue at Sandown is surviving lap one, because you've got a couple of chicanes throughout the lap, and they're loaded chicanes bouncing up left, right, and centre. And that first chicane on the lap's actually a lot more difficult than you think. The reason for that is because the track Navo is out in the exit. The one at the back end of the lap, you've got to actually bounce over curbs on the left and the right-hand side. That's effectively what's triggered that big accident.
Yeah, we'll get the replay of it. Should focus on Cleland first, because it looks like he might have gotten a little bit of oversteer over the curb there, and the car just snapped on him. Klemek had nowhere to go, and then Dance got spun in the midst of all of that. It seems like Klemek and Dance just came together out of nowhere. And Sabo, I mean, he did get a couple of dings and dents, but he managed to just make it through that without too much damage to his car. Huge incident. I think the biggest one that we've seen all season.
Yeah, not wrong. The thing is, there was so much potential for there to be a big accident over the curbs and the tyre barriers at back at Homestead, and we didn't see it. I can't believe we waited for Sandown, but I don't know if you've watched much 86 racing to the fans watching along at home, but yeah, it tends to be a little bit drama intensive when you come to Sandown. The reason for that, obviously, everyone's packed up together, very, very close. It's not easy to get around here in terms of racing. And we're going to get another look at it because there's so much to look at and digest in this one.
Yeah, so this one's going to be focusing on Anna Klemek. She didn't have much to do with the initial incident there, but she ended up getting tagged and across the runoff area. Just went straight on as Cameron Dance was trying to blend right. And yeah, that is a huge, huge crash. I mean, I don't know if you can really assign blame to anyone for that one. Klemek probably had a steering issue thanks to the Frog Leap Juice car coming across her, and then Cameron Dance coming in, and she ended up hitting him in the side. They both went off and then bounced off the wall back into everyone else. I mean, I know that we raced at Long Beach last week and there was that huge pile up in the chicane, but I would say that this one right here was a bigger incident, because at Long Beach, we didn't see cars flying everywhere.
Well, the big thing is difference in speed, I think, plays such a huge factor. You know, Long Beach at the fountain is the slowest point on the track. Well, maybe the last corner is a touch slower. But you're right, I actually went back and had a look at Emma Klemek. She did actually have steering damage. She was trying to turn to the right and prevent getting into that one. There's not much more that could have gone on. But yeah, look, I mean, slower speeds far and away. That's the biggest differential between these two incidents, is their pack's actually going to get backed up. I didn't hear safety car pulling away. Yeah, there it is. It is actually pulling away now.
Well, in the midst of all of this, Antal Sabo ultimately remains in 11th, despite all of the goings-on, despite quite a few cars in the top 10 getting taken out thanks to that incident. we've had 4 drivers retire from the race as a result of that one. James Watson, Anna Klemic, Cameron Dance, and Leo Duncan. Now, James Corbin is out in front, and this is going to be the big one for him. Can he hold on to the lead with Tyler Williams suddenly a big factor in this one? Can Tom Bewley get the lead back? Can we see the likes of Sparrow and Brown find their way back through to the podium? It's a very early getaway from James Corbin. He wants to get this race going. They're going to be at full speed coming into the last corners.
Yeah. Here they come, feeding into the last corners. There's going to be a huge draft effect down the main straight. Sparrow's actually got a big margin in behind him. Brown didn't quite time that restart all the best. Now, what can they all do? Sabo's got a little bit of a run straight off of that final corner. Here comes the drafting games. Corbin will lead them out of the final corner. And Tyler Williams will be the driver who's trying to hunt him down. Kirk has been picked off by Sabo before they get to turn number 1. And the race for a championship is on, Reese.
Yeah, Sabo back up into 9th place. And the drivers are going off at turn 1 behind McQueen all the way across the grass there. And this is where Sabo needs to be nailing these corner exits. He needs to keep it out of the wall there. Managed to clip it in race 1, and that's what ruined his momentum. It is on in the top 5, meanwhile. Tyler Williams has been swamped by Bewley, Sprague, and Sparrow, and he'll fall back to 5th place. James Corbin holding on by half a second as they enter the S's once more.
Yeah, all of this comes with risk, because if you can't get the job done, all of a sudden you become vulnerable. Sparrow forces Sprague to try and cover him. Sprague was a little bit unsettled as they got down in the braking zone. Williams is going to be the car that actually gets the better run off of Dandenong Road at turn 9. No, single file it out before the final chicane. Big moment for Sprague. And that is what Sparrow was looking for. He'll get to the
Sabo's been spun!
Oh, no!
Anton Sabo's been spun at the final corner! He tried to pass Aiden Gregory, but they came together!
And he's got damage. He's going to keep ailing as the rest of this race goes on. He's got no momentum out of the final corner. Justin Davies has just gone to his outside. He's back to 16th.
Oh my God, this has turned things around. This is
Not
insane. Yep. So let's get that replay so we can get our focus back on the action here. Aiden Gregory didn't get a good exit out of Dandenong Road, and so Sabo tried to go around the outside of him, but you'll notice as soon as Gregory hits the curb there, the car slips back to the left-hand side, and there was nothing Sabo could do about that.
Yeah, it just gets rotated. There's now damage on the left and right rear corners of that corner, of that car. Safety car's called, though, so for all the time that he lost, we will have another reset. There is another car off down at Dandenong Road, and I think it might be Taylor Oaks. And another car with tyres ripped off. This is getting unreal. No.
Oh boy, this is insane. This is insane. Like, I knew that the final round was going to be a big one, but I didn't think it was going to be this big. I'm interested to find out what happened to Taylor Oaks. Not the first car that we've seen with big damage sitting in the gravel trap, but it just looks to me like it was rear-end contact from Michael Board in the braking zone, and that sent Taylor right into the wall here. You'll see it. Board gets on the brakes and hits him in the back in a sickening impact.
Oh, boy. So... yeah, this is going to be an interesting one to unravel. Chrome Insurance Replay, I tell you what, they're getting the money's worth tonight. It is just kicking off far. Like, wow, Reese, I don't understand. Far out, mate. It's mental at the moment. Like, we've seen some aggressive racing, but I don't know if it's the curbs we're bouncing over, but think about Sabo heading into a final race. Now we just talked about the difficulty getting through that first chicane. He's 16th at the moment. If he can get back to 11th or so, he's still going to be behind a queue of drivers bouncing through that first chicane in what we expect to be a wet race. Now, could you imagine if somebody up the front decides to throw dry tyres on just as a gamble, because why not?
Yeah.
That could block the track. That could eliminate a lot of cars. But we needed, remember, so up to the first race, 5 spots was what was needed. You sort of went into a deficit of 13 spots a race. Well, Sabo was only 8 spots behind Mitchell Sparrow. So needs to find an extra 5 spots across the next 2 races. Right now he's 13 spots ahead of Sabo. So heading into the final race, he'd need to find 18 spots worth of points. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's becoming statistically more and more likely as we continue this race. The fact that that margin is closed, I can't believe a wet qualifying triggered all of this, you know?
Yeah, it's amazing how just one decision from one driver at the start of the night's action can influence everything that happens thereafter. That's what I love the most about motor racing. For something that's so focused on science and engineering and the laws of physics, it is an inherently chaotic activity. And what we love to see here, as James Corbin will bring us out of the final corner and put the power down to get the green flag flying once again, 13 laps to go in this race. Are we in danger of going time certain?
No, we're only 11 minutes into this session. We've got about...
It's only been 11 minutes?
Yeah. I can't believe that either. It's mental. So anyway, change the position up the front. That's the 2 teammates working together there. Sparrow gets past Bewley. Aiden Gregory's going to get a drive-through penalty for the incident with Sabo, but the damage is done to Sabo. Now it just becomes a what can he regather? Another safety car restart, bounces his way through the first chicane as they all do, survives. And that's the big critical factor. Now, drivers will start to lean on each other a fraction as they run out of turn 4 down this back straightaway. And you've got to survive this next lap as well. How about the battle for the lead?
Yeah, the Mackenzie Motorsport teammates of Sparrow and Bewley trying to make their way past James Corbin, who has certainly come to the fore in the latter stages of this season. He defends from them coming down to Dandenong Road, but the top 5 are all together here, and it looks like Ewan Baker struggling a bit as, oh dear, it looks like Joel Herbert has gone off there down at Dandenong Road, and not too sure on the damage that he has. He's managed to get it rolling, so we'll stay safety car free here. Still have Antal Sabo down in 13th at the moment. He's actually managed to make up a couple of positions thanks to that coming together, but he's at the front of a draft pack here, and if you've got some damage to the car, that's not the place you want to be.
Yeah, he's gonna throw the blocks though. He's really gonna try and hang on to these spots because it's critical that he does at this time. Change up for the lead. This will be critical. Sparrow's there. Sprague's actually gone through, and I think there's actually been contact.
Yep, there has.
Corbin's gone off.
Yeah, James Corbin getting a little hit up the back from Tom Bewley. And it looks like Bewley himself has lost places. Oh, and Arthur Brown off at turn 3. He'll get it going again, but Mitchell Sparrow has been granted the lead of the race. In the midst of all of that, Sprague and Williams rounding out your top 3. This is big here for Sparrow. If he can hold on to this victory, and if there's an issue for Sabo, suddenly he is in contention.
He's got to win it, and that he's now done all he possibly can do, and now it's up to everyone else to have things fall his way realistically. Sabo will pick off 12 spots, so he's up 1 more spot. Now the game's only 11 spots yet again. Another Crem Insurance replay, and the reason for this one is, again, the action just seems to be intense. James Corbin down at turn 1, and it's a touch-up from Bewley from behind.
Yeah, it looked to me like Corbin swerved across quite late in the braking zone there. Must have caught out Tom Bewley. So I don't know what race control are going to decide on that front, but we have 11 laps still remaining in this race, and Sparrow leading by 0.8 of a second. Sprague has not been able to break free of Williams, and if anything, Bewley, Baker, Corbin, Grunwald, Cleland, and McQueen are all latching on to the back of this train.
Sabo's definitely got damage. The car's not tracking perfectly. It's close to good, but it's not a perfect race car at the moment. He's having to drive the wheels off it. Look at the pack that's starting to build up in him behind him. He's up to 11th spot. That's because of the penalties to Aiden Gregory for rotating Sabo off the circuit. Picked that one off at the end of the last lap, but here comes Kitcher. Kitcher's going to have Bryce Harding pulling alongside of him. He's sort of forcing Kitcher to try and give him some support. Harding will go the long way round, up and over the crest at Dandenong Road. They don't want to lean on each other too much as they crest the hill up here. Slots in just ahead of Kitcher, picks that spot off. Now is Harding a little bit faster, and Sabo runs it wide. He just can't pull that car up accurately at the moment. He'll lose 1 spot. Kitcher's going to throw to the inside. Get blocked. Here we go.
Yeah, you saw Sabo shaking his head there like, no, I'm not letting all of them past here. He did make a mistake, but now crucially, he's got a bit of slipstream here off the back of Bryce Harding, and he should be able to stay in line there, but he's going to go for the move at turn 1 again. Side by side on the way into the braking zone, still has the pace.
Yeah, he gets to the inside, but again, this car has been a little bit awkward to pull up at the moment. You can just see a couple goes at the steering, look through the mirror. Did he cross him over nicely? Yes, he did. Got ahead of Harding. What happened to Kitcher? Falls in line ahead of Josh Lane. He's managing so many different aspects of this car at the moment, and damage one of the things, actual fact, is right brake light. Right rear brake light's actually not working, so there's definitely reasonable hits to the rear end of that car. And Harding's going to get a fair run. He's going to cover him all the way to the left-hand side of the track. Are you going to go around me, Harding? It's going to be the long way.
Arthur Browen falling down the order again. There's been further issues for the 222 machine as Sabo defends into the S's here. But will it be a sweep around the outside from Bryce Harding? It will not be. Sabo putting his car in the right spot there, but the wrong spot for the exit of the S's there. Miraculously, he still holds on to the car and is able to get past with Harding going off out of Dandenong Road. Now Harding under pressure from Josh Lane, Avon Dunn, and Noah Kitcher right there with him as well.
That's huge.
Sabo goes airborne at the penultimate turn.
That's huge. That was so much curb he took at the second last corner. Harding actually cut the track and got a slowdown penalty as well. So he had to give up a little bit of time, but it was okay. He ran wide down at Dandenong Road. It's on. Back out for P2 as well. Bewley and Sprague are going at it. They've actually tracked down Mitchell Sparrow in the middle of all of this as well. So Sparrow's going to sort of live and move on with his life as best that he possibly can. Sabo got given a break finally at the head of that pack as well. So he's now a little bit off it on his own. Josh Lane needs to run some quick laps to try and run him back down. Reese, no, it's just, I tell you what, I really, really hope Sabo's not thinking about last year. What he's got to do mentally right now is keep his head switched on this race and the next race. That's the only things he can change. Just keep doing what you can do, take a breath, and drive the best that you possibly can. Sprague is throwing everything at Sparrow.
Yeah, accept what you cannot change and do your best with what you must. As diving up the inside there was Tom Bewley. He's gone too deep in the battle for second, and Sprague will get him right back on the exit. That's just given Mitchell Sparrow even more of an advantage out the front. Tyler Williams won't be able to find a way through there on Bewley, but look at the massive cars here in the final few corners. This race has turned into one of the classics of this season, if not 2025 so far.
Yeah, paint traded, doors banged, curbs bounced. What more do you want in a motor race? Oh, and we've got rain to come at you for the final later on this evening. Cross the line, 8 more laps left to run in this thing. We're only a fraction past halfway, would you believe it?
Oh man, I don't think my heart can take 8 more laps of this as Cleland catches the curb on the entry to the chicane. Has to tour across the grass there. Was 3 wide at turn 1 there with Gronwald and Williams, I believe. And that spaced things out here in the battle for second. But it's insane that at one point that battle involved 8 cars. Just insane action. McQueen has gained the most positions in the race so far. He sits at the back of that fight down in 8th position. Can he make it a few more is the question. Ewan Baker, meanwhile, another one of the early pace setters this season, along with Sabo and McQueen, as well as Bewley as well. It's a shame we haven't seen Tom Bewley at more rounds this championship, because I think he would really have been a factor.
Avon Dunn just had a huge moment down at Dandenong Road as well. He was chasing down Josh Lane. That'll give him a bit more breathing room. And that battle pack's starting to string itself out a little bit more. Hayden Kirk's got Hamish Cleland falling back to him at the moment. And McQueen and Tyler Williams are going to go toe-to-toe, and then there's this battle as well for 3rd spot.
Up the inside at turn 1, great racing indeed, as Bewley gets the job done on Ewan Baker. Now he has to catch up to Sprague and Sparrow. Just look at the amount of two-wheeling that we're seeing from these drivers, and they're going onto the grass there. In the case of Gronwald, it ultimately results in a lack of momentum, but I've been surprised at the amount of drivers that have been able to make the grass work coming into the 4th corner.
Yeah, sorry, I missed that one, Reese, because I was just listening to some race control stuff that's going on at the moment. It's nuts, right? There's so much to look at, so much to review. So there's more netcode that's going on. Have a look at the clouds actually in the background of that shot, down towards the shot, looking back towards Turn 1. I've got a car around actually in the first sector. I think Mark Mallard's is
Oh, yeah.
going to have to request a tow here.
Yeah, well, that's big damage for the Cream Insurance number 8. See how the car's just sitting on the bumper, or what's left of it. That's unfortunate there for Mark. That's happened out of Turn 1, and, well, we might see our third safety car of this event. Well, our leaders will be passing that spot very shortly. For Mark Mallard, it was unfortunately a solo incident. He ended up getting crossed up over the curb. Speaking of crossing, Sparrow trying it now on Alex Sprague as he's lost the lead now. And I get the feeling that Mark Mallard might have been granted a tow. So we're going to stay green for now with 5.5 laps remaining on the clock. Now the McKinsey Motorsport teammates are back together and they can try and mount an attack on Sprague there. Ewan Baker in the background, drawing side by side with James Corbin, and he'll have the inside line into the S's. Tyler Williams sitting back a bit further, could take advantage of this if they come together, but it looks like the exchange will be done quite early there between Baker and Corbin.
Yep, so slot himself in. We haven't really talked about Ewan Baker tonight. One race one. He's back to 4th place in race 2, so he's on for a strong run of results as well. And challenging for a final round victory. At the moment, but yeah, I can't recall the last time Ewan Baker had a quiet night at the office. He doesn't seem to have those. It's either all or nothing, or a little bit in between, you know, a little bit of luck both ways. So that's changed up a little bit. New fastest lap of the race. Also, new fastest lap of the night for Tom Bewley, 21.060. And we say that, and around he goes at Turn 1.
Ah, man, that's a shame there for Bewley. He's going to fall outside the top 7 here. We'll hold on to 8th with Cleland and Kirk not able to get it done on him. The top 2 came together a little bit on the exit of Turn 4 there. Alex Sprague and Mitchell Sparrow were banging door panels as they were trying to assert themselves out there. And they're still running super close up ahead of these guys. I don't think anyone aside from Bewley has really had a proper opportunity to challenge for that fastest lap award that we have here. Of course, there is a $30 MRP Mannon Racing Products Sim Racing Store voucher on offer for the driver who sets the fastest lap of the night outside of practice and qualifying. So got to keep an eye on that. Many prizes being given out here. And of course, the top performer is also an option as well. Jump onto the NZ Sim Racing TV Facebook page on Tuesday, and you'll be able to vote for who you thought was the best performer of the night here. Bewley versus McQueen, it looks like, and versus Gronwald on the extreme inside there of the start-finish straight, as things seem to finally calm down in the battle for the lead. Still on for 4th, though. Corbin trying desperately to hold on to that one. And Gronwald versus McQueen again into the chicane. Gronwald has certainly not been afraid to use all of that curb.
Yep, bouncing all over it. He's taken it to his chagrin at one point tonight, losing the rear end. But you've got to be aggressive. You've got to use every little bit of that road if you're going to try and carry some pace down and onto the back straight away. And that's been the bigger thing, is just carrying that exit speed. So critical. When it comes back to the line at the end of this lap, there'll be 3 more laps left to run in this one. Not done. This is probably the biggest battle we're going to have on track to the end of the race, as Gromwald Jr. loses quite a little bit there to Scotty McQueen. And I think those storm clouds are starting to roll over. It's gotten a little bit cloudy, a little bit darker here in the last couple of minutes. So, yeah, I'd say rain probably not too far away, but I don't think we'll get it for this one.
No, we definitely won't get it for the finish of race 2, but potentially race 3 will bring us some wetness on the way through. But 3 laps to go for our top 3 here. Ewan Baker has drafted up to the back of Sprague and Sparrow, but a little crossed up on the way into the first corner, and he loses that momentum. Sparrow has been desperately looking for a good result this year. He finally got it at Motegi, the first race winner of the championship not to be Antal Sabo. And this is more momentum that he can carry through into the final round. Sprague, meanwhile, he's been searching for podiums, for victories practically all season, but they have eluded him for various reasons. Can he get a top spot here at Sandown?
Yeah, worthwhile pointing out as well, you don't just register for this series and make your way in. You had to qualify in, or the other option is that you're a wild card entry as a thank you to Creme Insurance, bringing some real-world drivers and drivers of note into the series as well. So just finding your way into this series is certainly worthwhile. Going through the qualification stages, ticking all of those boxes, not the easiest thing that you'll ever do. So that in and of itself is the first achievement. The second achievement's getting in here, and the third achievement's making progress as the season sort of moves on. Sometimes you might not be a quick driver in a Toyota 86. And Ewan Baker is going to make it 3 wide on the run down the start-finish straight. We're going to enter turn 1, 3 wide with 2 more laps left to run. Back to 2. As they enter, a little bit of a lean from Mitchell Sparrow and Alex Sprague, and Baker cuts through.
That was well executed there by Baker. He forced Sprague and Sparrow to the inside and just pulled out of it coming into turn 1. Focused on the exit, and when the both of them washed out wide thanks to that narrow entry, he was right there to take advantage and nab the position off of Alex Sprague. Well executed. That's the reason why Ewan Baker is one of the top drivers in this championship, and why he qualified for the series in the first place. He knows how to set that sort of stuff up. But Mitchell Sparrow is going to be another factor entirely. No sunlight hitting the racetrack at the moment. The exit is right with Ewan Baker there out of Dandenong Road, but he can't take advantage into the final corners. Sparrow's putting on a good defensive drive at the moment. The white flag is in the air in the flag stand, and we're only going to have 1 more lap of Sandown to go here in race 2. What an incredible race it has been so far, and there's still more potential.
Well, Ewan Baker's not out here to support anyone. He's out here for personal glory. Not a teammate, not affiliated with the fight. He was out of it. Probably one of the quicker drivers in the championship. It just results didn't go his way. He would have loved to have been there. A couple of questionable decisions. He'll learn from that. As he said all season long, all right, I made a mistake. I didn't cut my way through. The reverse grid race has been his Achilles heel. This one tonight, lined it up perfectly. Right spot, right time, but took advantage of it as well. You only had to be 1 or 2 cars further back and you get involved in the melee on lap 1. But for Sparrow, got to the point. Leads at the moment. Couple corners left to go. Done everything he can possibly do. Everything has gone nearly his way tonight. Sabo's actually going to catch up to Hayden Kirk on the final lap, so he'll have a battle to see if he can't get inside the top 10 to finish.
Yeah, that'll be something to watch as, oh, there's a bit of contact back there between Sprague and Corbin. And they'll open up an opportunity for Tyler Williams to get inside in the top 4 on the final lap. Baker trying to get side by side with Mitchell Sparrow, but Sparrow goes deep in the final corner to stay ahead. And oh yeah, no momentum at all. Ewan Baker's going to make it a drag race to the line, and he's just ahead when it really counts. Ewan Baker wins the second race of the night.
Ewan Baker led that race for 20 meters, Reese. 20 meters. But it was the most important 20 meters. Sabo did get 10th spot away from Hayden Kirk in that last race. So again, 8 points gained back the way of Mitchell Sparrow. He needed to make 26 to this point. He's made 16. Going into the final race, he's got to make himself 23 points of difference. There is enough cars. The only result that's really going to matter is that Sabo's got to finish at the back end of the field, effectively have a DNF, and Sparrow's going to be in the top 4. That's the only result that matters now.
Yeah, that certainly is. Oh, man. Well, Antal Sabo, it looks like, just grabbed the fastest lap at the end of race 2 there, a 121.045. So if any of the admin team is listening, note that down, and we'll get that MRP voucher prepared there. But Ewan Baker winning 2 races so far. He's on course potentially to be our round winner here in the final stanza. But Mitchell Sparrow only 0.02 of a second behind, with Alex Sprague, Tyler Williams, and James Corbin rounding out your top 5. Tom Bewley managing to keep 6th place in the end there. Sabo ultimately getting into the top 10. Hayden Kirk was the man he was battling with in those last few laps. Corey Crowson, AJ Giddy, Bryce Harding, Avon Dunn, Joel Herbert, they're all drivers who would have wanted something good to come out of this second race, but it just didn't happen for them. And that's going to be the end of things there for race 2. What a second race it was. And now we'll have our opportunity to have a chat to Alex Sprague, who managed a fantastic second race there. Super intense there, Alex. Getting onto the podium in this round, you must be happy with that. Had to take advantage of some drama, though.
Don't know if you can hear us at the moment.
Yeah, I don't believe we have Alex Sprague for the moment. It looks like he's adjusting something behind the scenes here. Yeah, jump him out of the interview waiting room for the moment, and then we may have the opportunity to chat to him. But I tell you what, Scott, we're set up for an absolutely manic final race here. I'm seeing the clouds creep in further. I just hope that we get that wetness for the final race here.
I think it's coming. It's right there and thereabouts. So there was so many lap times that are actually quite quick in that back end of that one. So that'll be the fastest lap of the night for sure. But yeah, you're right. Sun's starting to set. Has that weather run away from us again? I think it has.
Yeah, I don't want to disappoint you, but I am looking at the forecast and it's showing it's currently 4:30 p.m. in sim time. I'm seeing a 0% chance of rain all the way up until 8:15 p.m. So I think we're going to be getting a dry race.
Oh, God damn it. Well. Look,
big shame.
If anyone's looking to try and hire a rain dancer for your parties, I'm not it.
Yeah, certainly me either. I tend not to manifest the rain there. Not sure if we're going to be able to get Alex Sprague for now, but we'll try our best. In the meantime, one more ad break here so we can thank our sponsors who all helped to put this series together. Well, we are 2 races down here for the final round of the NZ Toyota 86 E-Cup, and here are the championship standings coming into the final 11-lap race. Antal Sabo ahead of Mitchell Sparrow by just 19 points. 21, sorry. That's Southpaw math once again. You forbade me from that, Scott, and I paid the price. But I tell you what, seeing the way this night has gone so far, I genuinely don't know what's going to happen. This is just going to be taking it 1 second at a time for all of us.
Well, the big thing is if the guys, and Sabo will have guys around him doing the math for him, the Vermilion Esports team, there's no way they won't be there and trying to support him and running numbers for him. The big key here is 21 points. That means basically for Sparrow, Sabo's got too many race wins. He must outscore him by 22 points. So if Sparrow wins and Sabo finishes 22nd or better, Sabo wins. Second, 23rd or better. Third, 24th or better. You're starting to get the picture. That is the championship picture. That's the only thing that matters. But have a look at how close it is between Corbin and Baker. 1 point between those guys heading into the final race of the season. So they've got a point to prove.
Absolutely have, and that's largely thanks to Ewan Baker getting both wins so far tonight, as well as pole position. It's been a great final round from the Kiwi Sim Racing at number 34, and you go back down through the top 10. The other closest battle is between Cleland and Harding there for 9th and 10th. Harding was really hurt in the first race here tonight, missed out on a big haul of points after qualifying in 9th and running in 7th before his unfortunate spin. Cleland battling for a podium in the racing here tonight. So they've got a point to prove as well. Some laps being set and some limits being pushed here as they make their way around for the final few seconds of the warm-up session. And we're going to be racing into the twilight here at Sandown International Motor Raceway for the final race of the tournament. The NZ Esports Toyota 86 E-Cup has certainly pulled it out here for all of us in 2025. And it hasn't just been these 5 rounds that we're going through. There's been qualifying rounds. There's been drama there that we did not cover before everyone got on the grid here for this 5-round tournament. The final race will be as follows. Ewan Baker won both races tonight, starts on pole position. Mitchell Sparrow alongside, and Sparrow needs to win this if he has any chance of taking the championship from Antal Sabo. Alex Sprague and Tyler Williams are your second row, and then James Corbin and Tom Bewley are 5th and 6th. In 7th place, it's Jack Gromwald Jr., who had a lot of bumps and dings in his car, starts alongside Hamish Cleland on row 4. And the 5th row of the grid, Scotty McQueen and our championship leader, Antal Sabo, who needs to get to the front.
Yeah, Hayden Kirk and Noah Kitcher are going to be out of 11th and 12th. Josh Lane and Ajay Giddy in one of those wildcard entries, I believe, out of the 7th row of the field. Justin Davies from Corey Crowson, Nathan Allen and Bryce Harding rounding out the 9th row of the grid. And Avon Dunn, Joel Herbert, going to bring home your top 20. Outside of the 28, and Gregory from Arthur Brown, 21st and 22nd. 23rd and 24th, Michael Board and Mark Mallard. 2 more rows of the grid. Taylor Oakes from, that will be 25th spot, and James Watson and Cam Dance from the final row of the grid in behind. Positions reserved for our safety cars as well. So that's it. That's the grid for the final race of the season. Here we go, boys.
Yep, revs getting up, revs rising as they need to heat these engines up. It's coming up to 5:45 in sim time. And in May in Victoria, that means it gets dark quite early. We're probably going to be seeing those headlights turn on very soon. This is going to be a tough one to negotiate. But the 4-cylinder Symphony, the Flat 4 Symphony, horizontally opposed engines, lighting it up here, ready for the start. And the final race is go, 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 but not for Alex Sprague. He bogged down off the start. and he's going to get swamped into turn 1. Protecting the line is Tom Bewley there, and I think Hamish Cleland wasn't too happy with how he negotiated that. As Ewan Baker will lead out of turn 1, Tyler Williams and Mitchell Sparrow, your top 3. Corbin able to get a position off the start there, and Jack Grunwald Jr. gaining 2 spots as well. They will be chasing down the podium in short order. Antal Sabo, meanwhile, has already made up 2 spots, up into 8th, but he's under pressure from Cleland here, and they've got to keep an eye out for Scotty McQueen and Hayden Kirk, who are bump drafting behind.
Yeah, so speed on the run down to turn 6, up and over at the crest of the hill. There's already been an incident all the way back at turn 2, turn 3, so we might get a safety car here in just a few moments. Cleland elects to slot in, and the big thing for Sabo was surviving lap 1. He's now done that. There was a little bit of contact just in behind him as well. Scotty McQueen's going to try and slice up the inside, and safety car has been called.
Safety car on lap 1, and it looks like it's for Cameron Dance. He's gotten into the wall out of turn 3. There was some drama at the very back of the field there. Dance, one of the drivers who unfortunately had to retire from race 2 thanks to being involved in the massive incident down at Dandenong Road. It just looks to me like James Watson and Michael Board, they were checking up coming into the corner, and Dance just got caught out, unfortunately.
Yeah, so I'm sure we'll get a replay of it. It's come our way, but it's a frustrating way for, to only finish one of the 3 races in the final round is brutal. That's a horrible way to finish the championship, unfortunately. And run down through the chicane. It looks like an issue tag from behind, and the 2 teammates getting together as well.
Yeah, Anna Klemic was involved in that one as well, in the number 15. But she managed to get rolling again. She has pulled into the pit lane to get some damage repair. That's another car in the wall, is it? I think that might be Taylor Oakes, who's both of the Orbit Drop Bear cars finding the wall there. Oakes was trying to get it rolling again, but evidently no steering available for the 313 machine. So this will eat into the time of the race somewhat. I'm wondering if we're going to get this procedure done super quick so we can get back to green flag racing as soon as possible, but we'll wait and see on that front. Ewan Baker has gotten the perfect start to this race, and Antal Sabo creeping ever closer to that coveted top 5. He's doing everything right at the moment. If the race were to end right now, Sabo would be champion.
Well, it's just survival. That's literally the only thing that matters now. Couple cars out at the back end of the field means that there's only 26 cars in the race, which means effectively, if he was to retire right now, he could only finish 26. That would mean that would need to be 3rd or better for Sparrow. So, and that's requiring him to be a retirement right now. Remember, it's a dead heat. I'm sure it'll go back to race wins, and we all know that Sabo's had the lion's share of those this season. So it'll just be drive it clean home. I think he'll probably just elect to be nice and simple, nice and clean, no contact. There's no reason to take any risk in this final race. So it'll just be, stay away from contact, keep yourself out of trouble.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Anna Klemic has gotten repairs done. She's come back out onto the circuit, but she's going to be a lap down on everyone else here, as we will go for at least one more lap here behind the safety car. Just waiting for that automated switching on of the headlights that we love when a race goes into twilight conditions. But talk about the golden hour. The light is beautiful at the moment.
Yeah, it is. And these Toyota 86s actually equipped with an endurance package here in iRacing as well. So the headlight's functional. Racing at night possible. Should be kicking over. Yeah, you're right, anytime now, but there's just that little bit of a golden glow out and over to the west of the circuit, which is behind the pit buildings. Beautiful racetrack, this one, Reese, and I actually managed to get down here a couple of years ago to go and attend Shannon's Speed Series, which had TCRs and Australian production cars. At that point in time, the Australian production cars also included the GT4s, which was just before they got their own category. I went out. I got to the track early enough on the Sunday morning. No one was holding me back. Went around and thought, no, surely these curbs aren't as big as you possibly think they are. They're giant around this place. These curbs, you look at them and you go, they feel and look like gutters. You know, that's exactly what they're like in person. So.
Yeah, massive curbs here at Sandown that have claimed more than a few victims here tonight. Ewan Baker to control the start here out of Dandenong Road. He's already putting the power down. Very early restart. An extra little scratch of the head just to make sure that he has everything in order for the restart here. Ewan, one of a few drivers in this field who's using virtual reality, and it has helped him out quite a bit here in this series, leading by half a second already as they cross the start-finish line to make it 8 laps to go for the season. Mitchell Sparrow drawing up on the back of Tyler Williams is going to go for it into turn 1, moving around behind from Corbin and Gronwald as the 71 of Sparrow moves past Tyler Williams, and Jack Gronwald struggling to find his way past James Corbin here. Corbin's giving him a real fight, but he's going to get sent into the wall, and Bewley decides to have a go as well. He'll get a position out of that one. Sabo moving past Alex Sprague, who's going to lose spots also to Cleland and potentially Scotty McQueen. Sabo up to 7th place now, and he has got this battling trio right ahead of him.
Alex Sprague got a huge bit of contact on that lap as well. Bewley bounced over the curb, basically shot straight sideways into his car, so he's going to have a fair bit of damage, Will Sprague, in this one. And unfortunately, it's probably going to mean he's going to slide further and further back. 3-way battle up the front. 3-car getaway. And they're just going to do everything they possibly can do for Sparrow. It comes down to a mistake now. But he'll fight for glory. And that's what this one's about. Regardless of the championship, regardless the prizes might be gone, P2 is still awesome, but he'd love for a win in the final race of the season as well.
Yeah, he absolutely would. Of course, some big prizes on offer for our top 3 here. Second is going to get a $1,000 voucher for Next Level Racing products redeemable at Speed Nation. And third overall prize will get a $450 MRP Sim Racing Store voucher. So drivers battling for that top 3 will be keeping their eye very close on those prizes. Let's see what Sparrow can do here as he's in the slipstream now of Ewan Baker. He's not jetting right up to the back of him right away. He's not close enough to go for it. And around a track like Sandown, it's basically a track of 2 halves, really. It's 2 long straights up the front and the back, separated by a few chicanes and a couple of tight corners. It's a very simple racetrack, but you need to be careful about where you pull the move and when as well, because there's every chance you get slipstreamed right back if you make a move. That's what Jack Gronwald's going to be thinking here.
You also hold yourself up. Sabo's going to get to the inside of Cleland at the final corner. Gets the job done up on the inside, looking for the drive out the other side. And that's one of those ones that you're exactly talking about, Reese. Momentum generally goes to the car around the outside, and that will go Cleland's way. Sparrow now new fastest up of the race, 21.354. And here they go on just ahead of Sabo at the moment. Gromwald Jr. and Corbin were swapping sides of the road, looking for advantage on the run down to turn number 1. Final race of a championship, final opportunities, and they're going to go side by side through the chicane as finally McQueen gets the job done, and Cleland tags the back of him. They both crawl away from the side at turn 4.
A lot of drivers taking advantage of that one. Kirk, Sprague as well, moving through to the front of the pack, and dragging along there is Noah Kitcher as well. This could end in tears if they don't sort themselves out before the inside of the corner. AJ Giddy's going to go for the inside there and get past Cleland. McQueen's going to follow him through as well. All of this battling for the last couple of positions in the top 10.
Yep, that will. I think Tom Bewley had a slowdown penalty because he's now all of a sudden dropped way off the back. Unless he's got damage. No, sorry, my apologies. That was Bewley serving a redress to Alex Sprague.
This pack, which is now in the background of the shot there, long way behind Antal Sabo, who's now caught onto the back of Corbin and Gronwald as there's contact there between Bewley and Sprague. Alex won't be too happy with how that's gone down. Tried to go defensive, got on the brakes and got run up the rear. That's created even more chaos here as it looks like there might be Kitcher that's caught the wall there. He'll fall back to 12th. Bewley leading Kirk, Giddy, McQueen and Cleland as they find their way down the straight.
Yeah, final race of the night, final race of the championship, final opportunity to show everyone what you're made of. And I think the elbow as well, they were traded in race 2, they're still out as well. Everyone's still being aggressive, still covering, looking for the lines, looking for the waves past. Look for another dive bomb down here at the end of Dandenong Road. No door opens for Kitcher. He's forced to slot in.
Climbing all over the edge of the curbing there. There's little strips of asphalt just beyond the concrete there on the exit curbs, which you can use. And the drivers are certainly making full use of all of it here. It's all about how the car bounces across the curb to begin with that really defines it. Technical problem there for Gronwald. And Sabo's going to back out of a potential move there. He's going to let these positions sort themselves out here. This is going to be difficult here. Outside line for turn 3. He has to just keep it out of the wall. This is the issue for Sabo. He can race hard. He can clip the wall a little bit if he wants to. But self-preservation is key at this point. He has one hand on the trophy. He can't afford a mistake and a crash now.
Well, the big thing is, yeah, you're right. Why is he taking this level of risk? Gronwald is one of those difficult cars to overtake. He's proved that all season long. Now he's going to come back at him as they get up to the crest of the hill. Gets to the inside and gets him clear. So that job is now done. But that was just a level of risk that I just didn't think the opportunity warranted it.
Yeah, Sabo would like a top 5 to end this season, but he's going to have to deal with Gronwald, who's passed him right back at the final corners, and that battle, I think, is going to continue. We'll keep our eye on our top 3 here, and you'll see them emerge up the top right of screen there. That was Gronwald now alongside Sabo. Sparrow, for the meantime, holding on to the lead here with 3 laps to go. And it looks like everyone's just calmed down a little bit up the front here after the absolute chaos of the first 2 races. And then you get to these guys. Jack Gronwald Jr. is putting on a huge defense here versus Antal Sabo. And Sabo is being very aggressive into the corners. But like I said at this point on the last lap, he needs to be careful. He needs to be aware of the big picture.
Yeah, thinking big picture. And Gronwald Jr. is... look, if there's somebody I probably wouldn't want to be around in the last couple of laps of a championship like this, it's probably Gronwald Jr. The biggest thing about him, right, he's an entertaining figure. Look, if you strapped a camera to his dashboard for every single round of this championship, something fun's happened. He doesn't do racing that's boring. It just doesn't happen that way. You know, he's young. Oh, Bewley's gone around now.
Oh, dear. He gets rolling, but the exit of Dandenong Road has not been kind to the number 4, and I think he might be carrying that damage through now. Oh, dear. Oh, that's Scotty McQueen that's gone around as well at the final corner. Big problem for him. But again, the car is still rolling. It just looks to me like there was a coming together there. Hayden Kirk basically got pushed into a move at Dandenong Road, and Bewley was following him through, but then they came together and Bewley got spun around. The McQueen deal was a entirely separate incident. Huge fight here from 7th all the way down to 16th.
Yeah, the battle pack's getting more and more and more aggressive. 2 more laps left to run. And these guys are just going to throw some moves at each other at this point in time. Croson's back to 9th spot after starting towards the rear. So he's had a phenomenal comeback drive. Bryce Harding has gained 10 spots in this race. So he's driven phenomenally. And Tom Bewley is going to have a transit through pit lane for contact, unfortunately. So it'll be one of the incidents he's been involved in. He's been involved in a few, to be fair, in the final race tonight.
Yeah, certainly has. Well, this long snake is going to continue, but there's drama in the battle for fourth. Jack Grunwald Jr. and James Corbin came together right ahead of Antal Sabo. Antal made his way through. So Sabo and Grunwald, they caught up to Mr. Corbin. But, well, converging lines, it looks like, again, there between Corbin and Grunwald, and they both lose a ton of positions out of that. Well, actually, just a ton of time, really. They were so far ahead of everyone else, so they didn't have to worry too much about positions. But it's almost the end of the race here. White flag flies. Mitchell Sparrow still holding on to a potential victory here. But this is where Ewan Baker will pull out all the stops to try and win all 3 races tonight.
Yeah, final race of the night. Crest of the hill down the back straight away. What's Baker going to do? How's this one going to end? Championship's not going to be decided anymore by this fight. But they want to go for it on the road. Ewan Baker would be loving to try and get 3 races, 3 wins to finish off the championship. He's going to challenge Sparrow the whole way. They'll go into the final complex of corners. Final race for your Toyota 86 series. It's been a challenge. It's been a drought of finishes for Ewan Baker. Mitchell Sparrow's had 1 result in the journey, but finally a run to the line. 2 races on the night. End up in a drag race to the checkered flag. Ladies and gentlemen, final race of the season goes the way of Mitchell Sparrow from Ewan Baker.
And behind them, in 4th, Antal Sabo has just crossed the line. And he will be the champion of the Toyota 86 NZE Cup. That huge battle for 7th goes the way of Bryce Harding. But Sabo now just taking it all in. It didn't go well for him at the start, did it, here tonight? He was on the wrong tyres in qualifying, mired in the mid-pack. And race 1 was super difficult for him. Race 2 didn't go much better. But he managed to run his way into the top 5 in race 3. A supreme drive from a well-deserving champion who took the lion's share, as you said, Scott, of victories this season.
Yeah. And that was the big thing. You know, he had 2 blips on the championship back at Motegi, and then here tonight. She was a challenge. Wasn't easy to get it done at any stage tonight. I think the big thing is in race 2, he was the last car to get cleanly through that wreck. He could have been in that.
Yeah.
And the championship would have been his to lose yet again. But for Antal Sabo, he'll get it done. 4th is more than enough.
Crazy, crazy stuff here from the final round of the season. Mitchell Sparrow gets it from Ewan Baker by 0.08 of a second. Tyler Williams completing the podium. A brilliant run there for Tyler. Finally gets that podium with Antal Sabo, your champion, in 4th place. James Corbin rounding out the top 5 there. He was fighting hard all the way through tonight. So was Jack Grunwald Jr. 2 of them unfortunately coming together to bring the final lap around. Harding, Kitcher, Crossan and Lane rounding out your top 10.
Yeah, outside the 10, we're going to throw it back over to Hamish Cleland. He led laps tonight, which he should be very, very proud of, from AJ Giddy, Arthur Brown, Nathan Allen, Hayden Kirk. Sprague drops all the way back to 16th in that final race. He challenged right down to the last. He threw everything he had at it. Aidan Gregory, Avon Dunn also in the wars tonight, unfortunately. Michael Board, Joel Herbert, round out your 20.
In 21st, Leo Duncan. Anna Klemick in 22nd place ahead of Tom Bewley, who was a factor tonight, but race 3 didn't go his way. Neither did it go well for Davies or McQueen, who finish ahead of Mark Mallard and James Watson to round out our field here. Our 2 retirements, the 2 Orbit Drop Bear cars of Taylor Oakes and Cameron Dance out on lap 1. Such a shame for the 2 of them that their season would come to an end in such a fashion. But we have our final championship standings here to bring to you. Antal Sabo, confirmed, your champion of the NZ Toyota's 86E Cup. Mitchell Sparrow did his best to bring that gap down, and Ewan Baker is now granted third place in the championship with his results tonight. Corbin only 2 points behind, with Alex Sprague rounding out the top 5 on 350 points. Just brilliant performances by all of them over the season.
Yeah, it was tough. It was, a thing to look at for Ewan Baker is you finally managed to resolve that Achilles heel in the second race. Took a fair while for him to get there, but if he was just a touch more aggressive, things when I'd say unlucky is the only reason he wasn't necessarily in that championship fight. But, oh boy. What an entertaining series, Reese. My voice might be done. No, we've done a full weekend worth of real-world racing commentary duties, but it doesn't matter. You popped your voice a couple of weeks ago on the final moments of race number 3. That would have done my voice in tonight, whether or not it was tired and weary and battle-worn, because there's so many cars out there. Tired, weary, battle-worn, probably the right way to describe them.
Yeah, exactly. Well, second place, the championship, is going to go to Mitchell Sparrow with overall a fantastic night of racing there from you, Mitchell. Third in race 1, second in race 2, and coming across the line in race 3 to grab the win. You've occupied all 3 podium places tonight, and the round couldn't have gone better for you.
Oh, yeah, it could have if some muppet didn't hit a curb too hard on the second to last turn in race 2. But hey, we have to learn from mistakes like that. So I'll take that one on the chin. And yeah, I don't know. I probably could have been a little bit tougher running to the line, but end of the day, I mean, I just needed to try and finish races and kind of round out the championship in a good fashion. So yeah, I would have loved to get the win for the team in the second race, but no, I had to back it up in the last one and make sure everyone knew my presence and remembered that, even though I'm a little bit rusty on the sim, I can still string it together.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, your results this season, yeah, obviously it took you a while to first get onto the top spot there because Antal was just so dominant in the opening rounds of the series, but you have to be happy with your performance starting from Motegi onwards. It was great watching you out there, and you were very smart with your battles as well. That's something that we can't discount here. In a series like this where the cars are so close and the racing is so close, staying mistake-free is crucial.
Yeah, exactly, and I think that is probably one of the strongest parts of my my skill set. Obviously, I can pedal a simulator pretty good. I can't really qualify that good, that's for sure. But yeah, I can race well. I'm smart. I choose my battles. I pride myself on gaining people's respect to be able to have them help me throughout the races, and obviously I have an awesome team around me as well. Yeah, that's kind of how it all unfolds, I guess. So yeah, can't complain. I have to be happy with second in the championship. It's a good return to sim racing. And yeah, I mean, well, I don't know what to do from here. I don't know what's next for myself. Obviously a little bit of a break because a championship like this and a series like this takes a lot of effort and a lot of time away from your everyday life. So yeah, I'll probably have a little bit of a break now for maybe a month or so, and then yeah, try and find something else to get into, something a little bit maybe bigger, faster. No, I just can't thank everyone enough that organised this series. Mark Mullard for kind of being the biggest drive behind this with Cream Insurance and offering up the major prize, and then the whole organisers behind the series. I won't name everyone's name, but yeah, they put on an absolute fantastic championship for us to all to come and contest in, and yeah, I can't thank everyone else that was a part of it, and that I got to bang doors with for the last 5-6 weeks.
Well, I can give you a hint as to what the next thing you'll get up to might be is finding a way to spend the $1,000 Next Level Racing voucher redeemable at Speed Nation, thanks to Next Level Racing and Speed Nation. So a lovely big prize there for finishing second in the championship, Mitchell. Thank you so much for joining us. Great performances this season. And wherever you go next, we hope that we're there to call the action.
Yeah, cheers. Obviously, actually, yeah, a big thank you to Speed Nation for putting forward that prize. I'm privileged to get the opportunity to spend $1,000 at their awesome shop. So, yeah, I'll guess I need to probably have a look through and decide what I want to buy and yeah. So no, thank you very much. Cheers, guys. Have a good night.
Mitchell Sparrow there, second in the championship, the winner of the final race here tonight. Next up, Scott, we got a bit of a dual interview here with Ewan Baker. Not only did he win the round here, get third overall, but he's also got the moment of the race. Just fantastic stuff from Baker tonight.
Yeah, Ewan, tough night at the office. You had to, tough night, but positive night at the office with rain again lurking in and around the circuit, qualifying, mate. I mean, started off with right place, right time, right tyre, right time. Then you had to make sure that you secured it in race 1. Then you had to cut your way through in race 2. And then you and Mitchell Sparrow putting on the duels of the night in those closing phases of both race 2 and race 3, mate. I mean, you can't ask for much more in terms of things. Third place in the championship. Realistically, we spoke to you early in the season. Pace was there. A couple of rounds got away from you.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, honestly, tonight, all the challenges thrown at me and everyone else, it was a lot of fun. And this is how I should have been driving all series. Like, to be completely honest, I dropped the ball multiple times. I need to look at that, work on that a bit more. Honestly, I think it's just my mentality. I get too easily rattled in battles and then start doing stupid things or putting myself in risky positions. So definitely something to take away from this series to keep improving on. But I'm glad I was able to get tonight to sort of show what I am capable of, because I know that I'm good enough to be here. I do deserve to be racing amongst these guys. I mean, saying that, Antel was another step above everyone. So obviously a bit more pace work and just working on everything to catch up to him. But yeah, it was a fantastic night. Could not ask for more. I honestly thought top 3 was just a complete pipe dream coming into the night. I was 12 points behind, and yeah, managed to wrap up third place is absolutely fantastic. I'm delighted.
Mate, talk us through a little bit the battles between you and Mitchell Sparrow. Mitchell just said, I mean, it was about being smart, going for the pass at the right time. Well, last lap, last corner, last run to the line, that really is the right time. He led 20 metres of race 2, and that's also earned us moment of the night as well.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, it's just, this track promotes good racing, I think. I mean, more so than any other track we've been to this series, this really, knocked it out of the park. And yeah, racing Mitchell's always fantastic. I mean, both him and Antel, I think whenever I've battled either of them, it's been some of the most fun racing, hard but fair. And yeah, it's just very, very level-headed. It's aggressive, but they know when to push, they know when to defend, they know when to sit in behind and give the draft, because it's so easy, especially around here, to start taking lumps out of each other, bringing people further into the pack, and then suddenly you've got 8-10 cars all scrapping it out, and you're just losing positions hand over fist. So yeah, for Mitchell and so Tyler, I think, was there as well, just to keep head on straight and wait till the last few moments to really set the fireworks off. It was good race, great fun, and yeah, I'm kind of glad, honestly, he managed to get that win there. He deserved that in race 2, and I kind of stole it from him. So we're a bit even, I think. It's good.
Mate, congratulations on finishing third in the championship. 2 wins in the final outing. Finally got everything put together just a little bit too late. Ladies and gentlemen, your third place for the championship. $450 to spend at Menon Racing Products. Congratulations, Ewan Baker. Who'd you like to give a thank you to?
Massive shout out as always to the team at Kiwi Sim Racing, and yeah, big shout out as well to our sponsors, Speed Nation, InspireNet, Scott Technology, and Shearwater Studios. Yeah, I've had a few of those guys on for a very long number of years, and it's been fantastic to have the support.
Mate, congratulations. Glad to see you back on the podium. Glad to see that you've learned the lessons across the journey, and that was the big thing at the end of the day. You can't win it. Take the lessons out with you. Keep improving. We'll see you back, whether it be later in this year for sure. I get the feeling 2026 might have another series coming your way as well in the New Zealand Toyota E-Cup, because it's been a success, and I guarantee you'll be around for that one.
Yeah, definitely. I'm never going to stop doing this. This is the thing that I love more than anything else. Yeah, keep cracking on, keep learning, keep getting better, and one of these days, I might be on the top step overall. So Yeah, can't find out if you can't try.
Well, with great pleasure, Reese, it gives me the opportunity to hand on over to you for the final interview for the series. It's a man who's dominated like no other, and he's going to be our champion for 2025.
Absolutely. Antal Sabo is with us now. And man, honestly, after that race 1 and 2, you must be feeling relief above all else with that fight back to 4th in race 3, Antal. Just give us your thoughts.
I'm keen on a sleep. That was a lot. That was a lot that kept us really on our toes the whole race. We got caught out a little bit in qualifying. We tried what we could there. We got carried away running with the wets, and then we just completely missed that little window there to swap over to the dries again that lap. So that's something that we're going to learn for the future. But sadly, that set us in a bit of a up and down roller coaster motion for the rest of the races for the night. Hard battling out there. We did the best we could do. Damaged car for quite a lot of that race, and yeah, we just worked with what we could.
Well, ultimately, you got enough points in the bag to take home the championship. And we've got a little bit of information here that we've been holding back from you for the entirety of this round. Initially, the grand prize for this series was a test day at Hampton Downs in a real Toyota 86 trophy car, but things have changed. Mark Mallard from Cream Insurance got to us before the round started and let us know that the prize is different now. It is a fully funded race weekend in the Toyota 86 Scholarship Series. I believe
God,
also at Hampton Downs.
Oh my God.
So yeah, all expenses paid, including travel. Antal Sabo, you are actually gonna go racing here as the prize for winning this series.
I'm speechless. I'm speechless. That's so awesome. I cannot wait. I cannot wait.
Of course, the administrators and Mark will obviously be in touch with you to confirm all the details. But man, what a prize to come to you, especially after missing out on the title in the NZ Esports Hyperfiber League last season. You had a point to prove coming into the 86ers here in 2025.
Yeah, we did, and it was it was going a lot like that race was as well this tonight. Apart from the fact that we didn't quite make it at all ever in anywhere near position 1 tonight. But I was just hanging on for a bit of a dear life there, trying to keep the car in one piece and making sure the panels were straight, not losing too much straight line, and just make sure we're keeping our positions and relatively keeping an eye where Mitchell Sparrow is. But you obviously have to run your own race and be mindful of that. So we try to do our best.
Yeah, certainly did. Antal, I'm not sure if we still have you here. If you can hear me, let me know. But we're going to round things off here. You got one more prize coming out of this round, and that was the fastest lap award. You gotten yourself a $30 MRP store voucher for the fastest lap, and I believe race 2. So that's one more cherry on top of this championship win.
I appreciate that. Sorry, my mic cut out there. I'm not sure what happened. I was chatting away there, but no, that's just a cherry on top there. So we're definitely going to take that, going to claim that, and upgrade the sim rig a little bit.
Absolutely. Well, the floor is yours, Antal Sabo. Anyone you want to thank for your performances over the course of this season and for taking victory in the NZ Toyota 86 E-Cup?
First, I want to thank my team at MRP Sim Racing and Vermilion Esports for pushing me this season and making sure I've been in check and nicely quick enough that we needed to be up there and fight everything that we could through every race and every qualifying. We definitely did our job. So I my job and the boys helping me out through the whole season. So I'm ever grateful for that. Want to thank IQ Security, RCIS, Race Cars and Sheds as well. Big thank you to you guys, the series organizers, broadcasters, and for sponsors for putting on the show. wouldn't be possible without you guys at all to even race here. I think everyone's been having a lot of great feedback on the show and the racing that's gone on through the series. So I really appreciate you guys doing that and putting this on for us. Cheers for Mark Mallard for turning that around for me. That little prize there. I'll definitely show up for that one. And hi, Mum and Dad. Love you.
Indeed. Well, till next time, Antal, thank you very much for joining us. Enjoy your prize of that fully funded race weekend in the NZ Toyota 86 Scholarship Series. And, well, we'll surely see you next time a championship like this comes around. Thank you very much.
Yes, guys, you have a lovely night.
And we will say our goodbyes to our champion, our celebrating champion here, Scott. Man, what a season it has been. Pleasure to bring the show here to NZ Sim Racing TV with you. I'm just so hyped for the next edition of whatever these guys have cooking in the background.
Yeah, mate. I mean, 2 seasons, 2 championships. A big shout out to Chrome Insurance and a big thank you to Mark Mallard. I mean, you heard how happy Antal was there to experience everything. You know, to go from just a test day to upgrade to a full experience is quite unique. You know, creating unique experiences. I think that's now part of the New Zealand sim racing events style and prizes, categories, unique. The racing's been brilliant. We're both just about speechless at the end of that one. It went off about 5 more degrees than we ever thought it was possible of being. So, my word, what 5 races, 5 weeks, and we get that as a showpiece. My God, Reese. Maybe these condensed championships are what we need everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Whatever's up next, we are sure to be there. We want to once again thank our huge roster of sponsors providing prizes and funding for this series. Cream Insurance, of course, Mark Mallard pulling out all the stops to help make this championship possible. Next Level Racing on board, as well as Manon Racing Products, Has 3D, Speed Nation, Race Lab, and of course 24 Red Racing. A big thanks to all of you for making this show possible in the first place. To all of you viewing on the YouTube channel as well, engaging on the socials, you still got the Moser Racing Top Performer to vote for starting tomorrow. Make sure to get on for that one. And big thanks to the crew at NZ Sim Racing TV for asking us back here to help bring you to the show and also getting everything done behind the scenes to put the show on your screens. I'm Reese Gardner. Scott Rankin alongside me in the comms box here on NZ Sim Racing TV to close out the NZ Toyota 86 E-Cup. Your champion, a well-deserving one, Antal Sabo, as the sun sets on Sandown.